Previously on Team X.
Now, Thunuk will have heard people call the Chandlewood a sea of trees, and so he probably thinks this is just a sea of water. It's like, how novel! A sea of water.
A sea of water. Who could have?
How novel!
This is like this is like 10 of every river in the Chandlewood.
It's a sea of lakes. It's wow! Look at all the lake.
I might ask to see how they handle fires here.
Fire safety is important, Hugon. I agree.
I think that this village is too cute.
Well, I think
Hugon says the word cute.
He does.
I'm gonna look very oddly at him.
I think with a name like Candlekeep, fire would probably be like number one on their mind. But
And
you never
to
know.
be fair,
Maybe it's wax.
This disgusting little village is, I mean, it's too precious. I hate it.
It's cute and it's a disgustingly
Have you
cute.
ever seen something so small and adorable that you have desired to kill it?
No.
Don't beg in front of me.
He's not making the sound. The stomach is like.
God, that's terrifying.
With the clouds floating low and the mountains below, and the fields under valleys we lie. We ran down the hills and discovered ourselves. We weren't afraid not to try. But like moths to a flame or sugar in the rain, everything's time's drawing nigh. And the star that I use to guide me to you is lost in limitless void. I no more recall the beginning of it all as the memories slowly destroyed. Slowly destroyed. The memories slowly destroyed.
Where it's basically these little wooden shacks.
Lebkuchen?
If I knew what that was.
Or
Say it again.
Say it again, please.
Lebkuchen. It's like chocolate covered gingerbread. You've never had Lebkuchen?
I have never had this, and I need to have it immediately in my life.
I thought I brought you some. No, I ate it. No, you're right.
I gave them a piece of myself to get us in here, and you're going to get us kicked out, and I fucking won't stand for it. Stop it. Right fucking now.
Again.
He says, thank you all for watching our performance of
Yes!
I
love it.
The Imperfect Family, which was originally written by a poet laureate out of Waterdeep. And our next performance will probably be somewhere else. And I'm trying
to whisper jar into a Siri.
Into an internet, yeah, kind of.
It's a series of tubes.
So
series
the mage hand,
of tubes.
So god damn it. So the mage hand's holding the
That was
tube.
bad.
It was awesome. I loved it. And the voice goes through the jar. And then there's this like, it sounds like you put an electric guitar right up to an amp, and there's this. And I'm gonna roll a performance check.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So that's a total of 20.
Ooh. So you hear like that kind of echo, reverb, feedback thing that's happening, and for some reason I'm hearing the very end of like Voodoo Child.
Yeah, like
not Voodoo Child's Slight Return.
No, the real one.
The 13-minute long.
Yeah, I've definitely heard it.
Blues jam. Yo, it's amazing. Anyway, and it comes back, and you hear the King of Dragons.
I don't like that.
I love it.
He's my favorite.
I don't know. I don't.
me.
It's me and you and all of us on a very special, very devout episode of Team
No,
X.
we're not.
No, we're not
no.
going to do this.
Not even close.
Not even close.
I didn't say devout to what,
Blood for the Blood God.
but devout to the D20. Hail
You should
Perkins.
see the cult member I just invited onto my island in Animal Crossing. It's a black cow with red eyes and a black hooded robe. I'm like,
Fucking
you are
metal.
cult master.
So happy Easter, happy Easter, everybody.
He makes great lemon squares.
Perkins be with you.
Probably true.
We are
The
going
ampersand.
I am St. Brian, otherwise known as Brian Wiggins, and I'm going to try to corral these cats, sir, both. Why not? All of the above.
Fuck you.
Assorted furry creatures into a semblance of a D&D shaped game at some point this morning. We'll see whether or not I am successful. I have not been successful in 2.5 years. I don't know why I'm going to start now, but we are going to try to play some Dungeons and Dragons this morning. But before we get into the game, we should probably introduce all the people who are playing in said game, starting with, to my left,
I'm Clues, playing Dread My Gem Weaver, Tinker Gnome Extraordinaire, who... What was I doing? Was I annoying Hugon last week?
No.
there was a...
I mean, yes, but no. At the end of last week, you were doing research.
You got a whole
That's
bunch
right.
of fun books.
That's right.
Yes.
I need to pull up my book list.
Yeah, this is
Continue on while I look at books.
And we shall continue on in a clockwise motion.
Me.
It you.
Hi, I'm Viking Goat. I am playing Cynic General Trunk. Nature Domain, Cleric, Capybara, Friend Shape.
He is.
Giant walking hug.
I think I like that one, but I'm going to use that one for the future, I think.
It's yours.
What?
Giant Walking Hug.
Whether you want it or not.
Seems fair. Seems fair.
And continuing along.
I am Blind Cleric. I'm playing Hugon Valander, Human Fighter. And like my character, I am very tired.
The sleep deprived. So we're really going for an immersion method acting experience.
No,
today.
you know what? I was gonna jump into that, and then my body was like, "What the fuck are you trying to pull here?"
That's dude. That's so method. It's like it's amazing.
It's meta method.
It's meta method.
Is that on the sorcerer's chart? Oh,
What?
it's a bard chart. It's a bard chart. It's like meta magic for.
No, shut the no. Shut your
And-
treacherous mouth.
And continuing on.
I'm Purple Monkey Robots, also known as Rosella or Roz, and I'm playing Eno, the Tiefling Bard. And I also got some books.
We
Yes.
all got books.
Everybody got some books.
It's a fucking reading rainbow episode.
It
Up in
is,
here.
you know what? That would not be a bad episode at all. Can anyone please get in touch with LeVar Burton and have him help us? with
Actually,
this?
listening to him read like a DMG would be pretty great. Honestly, that would be
So-
really funny.
Has been doing a reading.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, table talk. Talk about our. We'll all share our reading rainbow experiences.
It's
in
an
table talk. But when we did last leave our protagonists, they were at Candlekeep, and after some shenanigans, due to sleep deprivation and gnomish nature, they finally got around to doing some research into the books, into some information that they all, just wanted to find out. Some for fun, maybe some for other reasons, good, bad, or indifferent. But one of the first pieces of research that we completed last week, was Eno doing some research into the Shadow Council. There was he from some of the books he was able to pull up, he was able to figure out that there might be some kind of method to not necessarily summoning the Shadow Council, because it seems like the Shadow Council summons you. We determined that there is more than one Shadow Council. There is just not, it's sort of like a catch-all term, because we don't want to infringe upon the Shadow Council game that our friend Clues runs.
Fortunately, I mean, Shadow and Council both incredibly generic words.
Exactly.
So.
You know, and ooh, ominous. And who knows they may not have named themselves. We don't know. But part of trying to contact this Shadow Council is you have to know who's on it. So kind of a catch-22 situation. But Eno was able to suss out who one of the members might be. And we find ourselves in the necessarium that they have assigned to them for their little research. There's books everywhere. It is a windowless room that you are in, so it's difficult to determine whether it is day or night. You think this might actually be by design, because when you have scholars who are getting into really getting into the books, they're getting into the pages, they don't want to be disturbed sometimes by stupid concepts such as time, as day and night, and should I eat now? It's more like, no, they want to be able to get into their zone. So you're in this windowless room that has some work tables there, some chairs, and there's books everywhere. And as we had mentioned before, Hugon had kind of initially spread out with all his books.
I have the entire table.
About
yes.
war, and maybe you've started make some.
It wasn't about war. Researching planes.
Planes. Yes, there was
summonings and portals.
Mm-hmm. And so maybe you've been able to sort of move some things around, and you've all been able to find out some areas where you could work. So we'll start there. Is there anything that anyone with the books that they have are currently looking to research and find out? Drenmai, you seem to have an opinion on the matter. Would you like to share with the rest of the class?
So, a lot of my books are a lot of it's a variety.
Is it a variety pack?
It is a variety pack.
There is what we might
the sampler pack.
I wanted to create my own sample platter. In particular, she's gonna be looking for some spells.
Okay.
To try and learn. In particular, create undead, circle of death, and finger of death. And then I can send you what they all do if you need it.
I know what they all do.
Oh, I know you do, but and then so that's that kind of.
That's a list of
that
things
she's
she
on.
shouldn't be allowed to have. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. She doesn't need any of those, and you would be wise to refuse.
And then, in her "I Can't Believe It's Not Harmless" book, she's looking for in particular. I sent you all these books.
You did, I know. So it was create undead. It was
here,
Circle of Death, Finger of Death.
Circle of Death.
Why don't you just rip out greater consumptive field while you're
just
pull out all these.
I was thinking, time ravage and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I figured. I
For a
figured
moment
that's
there, I thought she was actually looking for the Idiot's Guide to Becoming a Lich book.
She might be. I mean, she's almost dead of old age anyway, so that might be.
They're all necromancy. Her ultimate one. Yeah, have fun with that one.
These are
all bad, and I shouldn't.
Yeah,
these
are all a little above your pay grade. Those are the
words that need to come out of your mouth.
These are all.
I know they are. Does not mean she's not going to try and research it.
No, yeah, okay. And let's see. Hang on. This is okay. So, okay. Animate dead things. Yeah, creatures could 24 hours.
I mean, if you want to go for a good one, you can look up Time Ravage. That would be.
Don't let her have that either.
But these all have a particular necromantic theme.
Death. I'm picking up on this. Causing it. Searing
so
pain.
we'll go on with
Dear God, 78 plus 30 necrotic damage on a failed save. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then if they die, they come up as a zombie permanently under your control. God
Permanently.
Permanent. Oh my God. And then what was the last
I
one?
hope that dragon fucking kills you.
So I can't believe it's not harmless. It's just dealing with like herbs and stuff that are in the native area. So I want to have, whatever possible knowledge I can gain from that. How to win friends and enchant people. So there's the win friends part, which Dren says, yeah, okay, whatever, I'm great at that. And then enchant people.
Time stop or time wave?
Ravage.
Time ravage.
It may not be in that book.
It is not in this book.
It may be in a splat book, which is how you know it's a bad idea.
Time ravage is in Wildmount.
Wildmount.
Wildmount. But it's more fun to say Wildmount.
Damn you, Mercer.
Yeah, for real.
All right, Mercer and I are gonna have to have a little talk now.
Mercer, what the fuck?
What? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why would you do this to us?
All right, so before we get into the whole spell
YOLO
stuff,
don't say that.
Too late.
No. Listen, I can't stop her from
I've got lots of
researching
books in here.
I know you can't. God could. But...
Pick the first thing that you're looking to research. Because all this takes time. It's not like, I'm gonna be able to do this, because a lot of time, like, these books may not be in common. There might be some translation involved, so it might be that I've got to get the translation book, or it might be that the book is written in such a way that because if I only
get to pick one finger of death.
No, at a time, one thing at a time. So
okay.
It could be a spell, it could be the winning friends and charming people, and
we do have 10 days, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you have to do it all at once, and it's not like, but it's just, I'm trying to determine how long it's going to take you to suss that out.
Then her first would go towards the finger of death would be her. It's like one at a time. That's like her most
pressing
matter.
Get it? Finger pressing. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so a reading from the player's handbook.
Enjoy.
Crawford be with you, and also with you. Finger of Death, 7th level necromancy. Casting time 1 action, range 60 feet. Components, verbal and I forget what's S. S is
somatic.
No. Yeah.
Yes, somatic.
You send negative energy coursing through a creature that you can see within range, causing it searing pain. The target must make a Constitution saving throw. It takes 7d8 plus 30 necrotic damage. So that means it could take up to 86 damage if you maxed out your rolls.
Indeed.
On a failed save, or half as much on a... Okay, a humanoid killed by this spell rises...
Oh no! We lost Viking.
Uh-oh. I'm the host of the show now. I'm the host of this show now.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back eventually.
I'm not even going to bother messing with the overlay at this point, because by the time I do, it's just going to go right back. A humanoid killed by this spell rises at the start of your next turn as a zombie that is permanently under your command, following your verbal orders to the best of its ability.
I love that spell so
yes, much. I can imagine. And when would you actually become eligible for 7th level necromancy?
13th.
13th level?
Yeah.
No, wait, you're a sorcerer, so it'd be
I'm a sorcerer.
So it'd be 1 level later than I think normal wizards.
Because like right now, I have 5th level.
And you're level 10?
We're 9.
You're level 9 right now. So to get to 7th level, you get it at 11th level.
Okay, so I'm only 2 away.
Oh, good.
No, wait, you're skipping 6th magic then, if you have 5th level magic right now.
I have.
No,
to
you're
get
right.
to
You're
6
right.
to
You're
get
right.
to
You're
7th,
right. 13th.
Right?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's 13th.
So it's 13th. Yeah.
Level 13.
Okay. So
for sorcerers and wizards, damn.
Yeah. Fortunately, you only get 1 spell slot at 7th level, and it only goes up to 2 spell slots when you get to
Finger of Death.
Finger of Death is going to be it. Just future knowledge.
Finger of Death in that slot. We're planning for the future.
This is Dren planning 4 levels in the future of this is where I'm headed.
This is what I want. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is do an intelligence check to see how you are going to study this material. Being that this is so advanced, however, I do think that this should be at disadvantage. Because you're talking, this is like you have, oh, I know algebra. Give me that book on calculus.
Mm-hmm.
I can do maths.
Come back. Let's try that again. Just a straight up intelligence check.
Straight up intelligence check.
18.
18. Okay. So you are able to figure out the information. You're able to figure out, okay, this is the Finger of Death spell. But now that you figured out that this is the spell and you're studying it, I do now need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Where'd my D20 go? There it is. Wiz save.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Stay where I want you to. So that'd be a 0.
What did you roll?
A 1. I have a -1 to wisdom. Welcome back.
God, this is
Wait, what did she just roll a 0 on?
A will
A
save.
wisdom save.
wisdom.
What did I miss?
I'm trying to learn some high-ass necromantic spells, and I just had to do a wisdom save for God knows what for reading a book, and I have a -1 to wisdom, and I rolled a 1.
Critical
So that makes it 0.
fail. So the
Gideon, we match. I didn't even notice.
Look at us. Look at us.
Oh, we're so cute.
Aren't we just fucking adorable?
I almost
so
wore that shirt
you
today.
take 7
Me too.
points psychic damage,
Okay, 7 points.
and hang on.
Never
a second
easier with
here.
D&D Beyond.
Could never
My-
be easier.
Keyboard's not lit up. I gotta fix this.
And hang on, I'm looking something up here. Maybe it's not in this one.
Are we back to normal in the grid, so to speak? On
We
Twitch?
I don't
are
know.
back to
I didn't
normal on
look.
the grid. And hang on,
Cool.
I
Good.
wasn't expecting that you have to use.
I was hoping just like a little bit that like he would go too far and whatever that chord was would go whang.
Nah, my chord skills are strong. Let's see.
Is it still hooking up on your chair, though?
No, I figured out if I just drape it over my knee, it works out better. I would think it would also have this in here. I really think they're neat because a critical. I think because listen, this is you're dealing in like some like
I fucked.
forbidden knowledge here. Do me a favor, give me a roll of a D100.
Where's my Zochi? Hold on.
There needs to be consequences.
Okay. No. 70.
70.
Are you eating bacon?
Jerky.
Oh, okay.
Breakfast of Champions.
It's basically it's dry bacon.
Dry bacon. Well, this one's sweet and hot.
It's
I love the
preserved.
sweet
bacon.
and hot.
Isn't bacon inherently preserved?
Shh.
But at the point of consumption, it depends. Because you can have raw bacon.
Drenmai no longer has any inner monologue.
She's just going to say everything out loud than like she
Yes.
was. Dren is upset.
Dren's inner monologue is in third person?
It might
She
be.
always talks to herself, or she always speaks like in general at third person.
Eno's furiously writing in his journal. He looks like, Dren, what happened?
This is a library. Be quiet.
Dren cannot be quiet. Shut up, self. To kind of think that I do have multiple personalities inside.
Do I see anything wrong with her? Like, did she look different at all?
Looks
Everything looks the same.
Exactly the same.
All right.
It's just that now So she was reading this book, this thick, dusty tome. The cover, might have been tanned leather at one
made
point.
Made out of skin.
Leather from what? Nobody knows.
It got miscategorized. It should be in the forbidden section, but like some intern was like, "Oh, this clearly goes here."
And pages. The ink is a deep, deep red, almost black, and like, oh, what was this? What was the ink made of? And she was studying and just focused hard on this book, and just now, after studying this book for probably, I would say something like this, because of the difficulty of the language, it was probably a couple hours worth of reading and studying this, that you were finally able to get to this point. But this is some deep, tough knowledge to absorb at this level. So now Drenmai does not have an internal monologue. So while she was
real noisy in here.
So while she was researching this, and what are some of the other things here that people would like to have attempted to learn with the books that they have in front of them?
If no one has anything, I would like Hugon to learn very specifically with these books how to get to Sigil.
Okay.
Via portals.
The shadow gates, or just portals in general? Or just
portals in general. The weird thing about Sigil is that it's the city of doors, right? In more ways than one. It's the God, what the fuck is that word?
Nexus.
Yes, it has a very it has like the city of Sigil has a title that I can't remember. It's like the interplanar conjunction or something like that. Anyway, portals have a chance on fucking up in older editions of D&D of sending you other places, right? If you fuck up the portal, one of the places that it can send you is Sigil, because all portals, all doors can lead to Sigil. What Hugon is trying to do is, because he knows he has to go there anyway, figure out how to co-opt the Shadow Gate network to get to Sigil.
Okay. Then let us have an intelligence check for doing your research. But I'm going to put you at disadvantage as well, because you are exhausted and sleep deprived.
But am I in that lucid moment of like
of understanding, maybe, but just the attention span required, right, in order to actually, it's one of those things where you're probably reading the page and then like, oh wait, I don't remember the last paragraph, and going back, whoa. What happened? Switch account. Eat.
Jody's church is using Zoom, and it's fucking Sunday, and it's church time.
Well, yeah, that too. Also, we've been having problems with Zoom to begin with, and we just.
I mean, it's been okay recently, but
Oh, JD can hear us.
oh shit. Oh. We don't have
You
There we
have
go.
to the
Now we
next-
have audio.
Okay.
We have it now.
Do we have audio now?
Yeah. So. Yes.
Before-
Okay, we
okay.
have audio now. We are back.
So a funny thing happened right before Zoom shit the bed and kicked us all. Brian asked me to roll a straight intelligence check at disadvantage because I was doing something complex and I was very sleepy, like I am right now. I don't actually know the rules precedent for this because I rolled the same number twice in a row.
Okay. And what number was that?
18.
Well, then it's the same. And there's,
Okay,
That's
so
what
yeah.
it is.
It is what
okay,
it is.
it's so
Yeah,
it,
you don't have to re-roll just because you got
okay
the same
because
number.
I wasn't sure because it says take the lower of 2 rolls.
Keep
So you
rolling.
Keep rolling until you get a sucky ass roll.
No.
Keep rolling.
This is the case of where you roll twice and you get what you get, and if there is a lower number, you take the lower number. So
Cool.
an 18, and that's is that
18 plus intelligence, I think, is 2 or 3. It'd be 20 or 21 in either case. So
Okay. So we'll start with this. You were able to find the information between several volumes. There are volumes written about Sigil.
Sure.
It's out there.
People know it exists.
Yeah, it's
go
not
there.
like it's not a secret. It's not a fairy
No.
tale. It is a place. People have been there. I know a guy who went there once. Everybody knows someone who's like everyone has like oh yeah, I know a guy.
Everybody has like that drunken story of like stumbling around in like an alley and ending up in Sigil
Yeah.
and being like, well, how the fuck did I get
I've
here?
never
And then
been to
stumbling
Sigil.
your way back.
But my cousin's friend was at Sigil. And then you go talk to them like, no, that was my buddy. He's been to Sigil. And then they, it's one of those.
I have a Canadian girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
No, I met her in Niagara Falls. You wouldn't know it. She goes to a different school. But there is information about Sigil. Getting there, there's some direct routes. There's some less than direct routes. So, but what you need to do is to figure out how to combine the Shadowgate technology, for lack of a better word, the Shadowgate mystical architecture. How does this now apply to Sigil? So let us do a wisdom check to dive into how do we parse out this information. And while he's rolling that, I found someone to put a really good example of the difference between intelligence and wisdom, right? Intelligence is you know that tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is you know that tomato does not go in a fruit salad.
Right. Bard is being able to convince people that a tomato-based fruit salad
is a
sell.
good thing. Yes,
Yeah.
It's
So
having
is-
someone try it.
Is this also at disadvantage? This wisdom check.
No, because I think this is where we get different, right? Because we've all been at that point where you're so tired that you're like utterly lucid, and you're actually like, wait a minute, what if I did?
So advantage.
No, I will say that you won't.
Well, fine. I'm going to spend a charge for advantage. So ha.
Okay, I will
Now I
allow
get
you. So now I do get it. So now you're at.
Well, this is good because
There
that first
was
roll.
not like an appropriate amount of head bobbing there.
I rolled a 1, so I'm going to roll again because I have advantage.
Yes.
Because the last thing we need is a repeat of Dren's.
Nah.
What?
You okay there, kid?
Oh no, there's other things I might need to do because
has
I'm
to
capturing the
capture his
display.
screen.
Yeah, all your stuff that you're capturing is now streaming to Twitch.
Oh, it's fine. No, it was
Yeah.
so okay. So
I
we'll
saw
give you a
the
little behind.
charges
I'll give you a little
thing.
behind the scenes for how I'm capturing. No, that's not on the screen.
Yeah,
It was.
the charges thing came up on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's just a
Also,
number.
your alt tabs are showing up, or Stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it.
I mean,
There's-
is he watching pornography?
Maybe.
I hope not.
It doesn't particularly matter.
There's nothing to be done about it.
In any case,
In
just don't
any
have your
case.
bank information available.
Yeah.
So I rolled a 1 for that first roll. I'm rolling again.
Okay.
Because the last thing we need.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the first thing we need.
Okay, it's an 18. Total, not a natural 18.
I'm gonna
The
say
total.
18 is the number of the day for
18
Mr.
total
Verlander.
for this.
So, while it doesn't mention the Shadow Network specifically,
Mhm.
you're able to parse out that there's like basically a few different types of portals, right?
Mhm.
You've got portals that are basically anchored from point A to point B.
Right.
Then you have more of like it's like more of like an intraplanar network. And you think one of the theories that people have put out there, it has been posited that basically Sigil is all of the portals. In that when you have some of these portals, that it's not necessarily like, oh, we've connected this point to this point. It basically everything routes.
Right.
That Sigil is a portal router.
Right.
And while while you might not actually be in Sigil, it's like the one door opens into the next door and you pass through, but in that tiny little space, Sigil, boom, or Sigil hosts the two doors that are talking. So basically you're talking about like a hub of some sort. But then you actually have like self-contained portal networks that have been written about.
You have a LAN, and then you have an internet.
Mm-hmm. Internet versus intranet, right?
Intranet, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like these are all just the portals, and you think that the shadow network might be that. So the trick would be, how do you get the shadow network, which is this self-contained intranet, which seems to be based, which you would imagine is based exclusively in Faerun, possibly Toril at large, but this specific area, and doesn't actually use the Sigil hub. It never leaves the local. It never leaves the local domain.
My guess would be we would call planar IT, and then they would send somebody out from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
sometime,
where between the next 3 to 5,000 years.
Well, first they wanted to ask you, did you turn the network off and back on again? And then
yes,
then you go from there. And then they come out and tell you, well, we can't actually do that right now. I don't have the part.
To continue this sort of computer science fuckery that we're engaging in, could I pirate the signal? So to speak, could I like forge an illegal connection to the?
Do an Arcana check.
Okay, I'm bad at this.
It's okay.
That's a 12, which is
youth
surprising because I didn't.
Based on, well, I mean, listen, you're a warrior, a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You make hurt with hands. You know, you don't know how to do that,
Okay.
but you think, given the information that you have, you know people in your immediate vicinity that quite possibly do have the knowledge, who use magic, who might possibly be able to take your premise and the information that you have and possibly hack the system and build a pirate signal into the greater Sigil internet network. Which we need to find a better name for, but yeah.
Do I think that that's a one-time thing, or is that something that we can like?
That you think that's gonna for you? So at this point, you're like, you know what? I've reached the
possible, but I don't know.
I know it from what you're reading. You're saying, listen, between this and this and this, these pieces of information here, it looks like to me that this is a possibility. But as far as, is it a one-time thing? Would we need to have something physical or metaphysical built? All of the other things, you have enough knowledge to say this is within the realm of possibility, but you also have enough knowledge to say, but I don't know much more beyond this. I would need to talk to people who have more mystical knowledge than I, who might be able to work the ones and twos and make it all plug together. You know enough to say, hey, this has an HDMI port, this has an HDMI port, but I don't know how to connect the two of them. I need someone who has.
Right.
We're really going deep on this computer, on this help desk metaphor.
Listen, it may as well be fucking magic. So, okay.
Yeah, this is becoming the hackers edition. Of
I'll
T-Max.
I'll sit on that. I'll sit on that for a second so that we can hear about Ross and Viking goats.
Who's Ross?
You know what I meant.
Well, since and I'll say that because Ross, it's your fault. Eno did his research last week. And we will come back to that.
That's right. That was Shadow Council research.
And we will come back to that. We're not ignoring the singular Eno. But let us find out what Thunuk is trying to learn about with books, because listen, this is the content we want. So we have Dren studying over there and maybe increasingly looking a little bit more bent as she's reading through all this. Like there might be a few facial tics as she's like trying to process and she's starting to glitch as the and then
and it's all verbal too. What the fuck does that mean? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. Dren has never heard of that before.
This is why we all had disadvantage, because she wouldn't shut the hell up.
And we've got Hugon, who's like, I'm thinking it's like again, I can only speak from personal experience when I've been tired and my ADD is going nuts, where I'll be reading something and then it's like you'll get a few pages later and realize I've been reading it, but I haven't processed anything for the last 2
I
pages.
haven't actually been I've been looking at the words and I haven't really been taking them in.
And we got Eno, who's kind of used to being able to tune things out and just doing his thing. And then we have Thunuk. Let us find out about the Thunuk reading experience.
So of the books he's requested, he's been requesting books on medicinal cooking, basically making food that makes you better.
Okay.
But also, I imagine some of those books might have like make you better might be reinterpreted to some extent, I imagine. But one of the books, or one of the grouping of books that he asked for, was the books with the oldest references to the Chandlewood and the Pinedale area, because to the best of his knowledge, the four are, aside from what he's recently learned, are not old. They're fairly newish. And now we've come across ruins underneath Pinedale with symbols of the four, and it's sounding like there's more to it than that. But he's also he's just sort of curious, like, how old is Pinedale? How old is the Chandlewood? How old are the four?
Well, let's start off with the intelligence check.
Oh, great. One moment. Let me flub this one. That is a 14.
Oh, listen, that is a very good for Thunuk.
Guys, yeah,
he did a very good. So I guess what is the specific? I get if we can drill down. So he's looking for the Chandlewood. He wants to know how old the Chandlewood is. Is it more?
Well, Thunuk isn't thinking in specifics like how old is the Chandlewood, but like I imagine he's probably got some standing orders from his master to learn about the four and to learn about the Chandlewood and to learn history and become more in tune with what the four are all about and what they need. So apparently there are enemies of the four, and apparently the Chandlewood he knows it's ancient beyond measure, but there's also stories that he didn't know about.
Yes. So, two of the books there, I think we had the Chandlewood, a history, and the War of Demonfell, if I remember, was the other one.
Yes.
And as you're reading through those books, and there's notes in the margins and everything like that, so you're able to kind of get in a little bit more commentary on that. The basic, more recent history is that that Pinedale was founded approximately, I think the note I gave was approximately 200 some odd years ago, in its current location. It was the first successful. Um, um, colony that it actually took. There had been other previous attempts, but the Chandlewood seemed to have consumed them in some way, shape, or form. But for some reason, this one took. In the book, The War of Demonfell, there is mention. So the War of Demonfell, from what you're reading, was some type of incursion by demons from some place you're not really sure. It didn't really register with you. Like someplace bad, a bad place.
Mm-hmm.
Demons are bad. They come from a bad place. And there was some kind of war that had been going on between them and something known as the Sealy Court. And the Chandlewood seemed to be like, that was like the location of this battle. It doesn't specifically say what started the war, but Pinedale, the original settlers of Pinedale, did get drawn into the war. They had attempted to be neutral at first, but then got drawn into the war between these demonic hordes and the Fae of the area, and the mystical creatures, and the Emerald Enclave was involved, and it was a pretty heady battle, pretty heady war, and there's a note in one of the margins that mentions that the war itself, so in the section about the war itself had been going on for millennia. Sometimes just retreating into a Cold War, sometimes not accelerating, but moving into a hot war, moving into a shooting war, but it was always there, simmering in the background for thousands of years. But it does appear that at one point, when it went into its initial like Cold War stage, when things before there was in ancient history, there was rampant fighting, and you suspect that it might have been a time when magic might have been a little bit newer, a little bit rawer. That's a word. More raw. And that's something that was, that the Firbolg in the area had just always known about. That in olden times, before anyone can remember, that there was a lot more magic in the world. It was mostly like the world of like the Fae in this area, and at some point, and it's mentioning the city of Rushinshan, which mentions it being an elven city. It mentions that a ritual took place that was able to create the initial détente, the initial cooling off of everything. And something happened during that ritual. It doesn't say exactly what happened, but it was a great ritual that involved great sacrifice. And the result of which was that the demons retreated. And the war continued on, but it was not as devastating a war as it was before. It became more like little incursions. It became more political, more manipulating of events. And there's a note on the side of it that someone wrote, and I believe it was one of the founders of Pinedale, Balthazar. I can't remember the first name right now, but this is the one that has his annotations in the margins, and in the margin it just says, "Is this why they were split?" ? And that note sticks out to you for some reason.
I'm writing all this down.
Yes.
Um,
There will be a quiz later.
I'm never good at quizzes. Crap.
Well, it'll be matching.
Oh, multiple choice?
10 questions matching.
I can do that.
And
Then
because
doesn't even
it's
become
all
it's not even about information at that point. It's about odds.
yeah, it'll be open book because it's all at home learning now. So just so you're able to glean that's the information you're able to glean at the moment.
Okay.
With your very good roll of 14.
Yay.
So what would like Thunuk's reaction be? I'd be curious. It's like, because he's not a book learning guy.
No, he doesn't really. He's a hands-on learner. He doesn't get to read books all that frequently because most people don't either think shouldn't be trusted with books because of his stature, or they're correct in assuming he shouldn't be trusted with books because of his stature. But he does enjoy reading when he gets the opportunity to. But since he's so unpracticed, it takes a long bloody while for him to do it. What his thinking would be, he'd probably try memorizing everything he's reading because he wouldn't think to write it down. But is this why they were split? Might not occur to him that this is directly related to the four. He might think it has something to do with like someone was bodily split, or maybe a relationship came to an end, and that would be very sad. Or maybe a city was divided or something. But he might actually, he'd probably ask out loud. What does it usually mean when someone says they were and they're not, and a book doesn't specifically refer to something? And he out loud to everyone in the room.
Is the book discussing a group or a single individual?
All of the above. And he turns the title to you. It's like, there's a lot of people involved in this. But
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to keep reading. And he'll alternate between this book and Alchemy of the Four Seasons and Spiders, Easy Meals for the rest of the week.
For every day of the week.
Oh, every day of the week. Okay, thank you.
Easy meals for every day of the week.
It's always the rest of the week.
No matter what time of the week is, it's always the rest. It's always future tense. You can't make food for right now. You can only make food for later. That's deep right there. So we'll come back around to that because that would be a different round of research if you should decide to do some more research. But let's get us to a point now. So everyone's kind of finished your first round. Eno has asked his question of his whisper jar and gotten his answer. Drenmai has incurred her derangement. Hugon has figured out that there might be a way to hack it, but would need more experienced and knowledgeable input on that. And Thunuk is confused by pronouns. So, but Thunuk has gotten some information that might start you never know, could start a thought process, right? Just
I think he's confused by the ultra generalness of it.
So we'll get ourselves to like that point where it's been a few hours. You've been sitting in the room, quiet or not, trying to tune out, whatever. You got Drenmai doing her thing. But you've gotten to your first level of like, okay, this is the information that I have gleaned. Is there anything that anyone is sharing with the group? Is there any major revelations here besides the fact that Drenmai is
about to say mine's like an open book, literally, because it's just word vomit.
Hugon seems surprisingly unconcerned with this.
It's just an iteration.
But he will ask, Dren, would you like to break into a portal network?
Wait, am I still compelled to be talking?
Oh
everything that's in
yes,
my
this
head?
is not a temporary thing. This is
Okay.
You're going to have to figure out a way to get rid of this. Your brain is a little broken right now from this.
Portal network. What does Dren know about portal net? Are we in a portal net? Are you? Wait. Yes.
I think I've hit on a way to use the shadow gates to not only teleport us from place to place, but to teleport us to different planes. I just don't have the expertise to finish the equation.
Dren's amused by this. Okay, I can help.
Good. He shows her the notes and the book that he's been using to compile this theory. And goes, it's all there.
God, Dren now has to read even more stuff that she doesn't want to learn about. This doesn't have anything to.
I have a
Okay.
feeling in my head now that it's like I'm seeing like Ed from Cowboy Bebop now, where it's like, gotta hack everything.
Can you do it?
DM, can I?
Arcana check.
Something I'm really good at. Whoa, 24.
24. So based on what you're seeing, yes, you think that it is possible to hack it. You think that there would be some components required, some physical components to build the appropriate focus.
Okay.
In order to.
What do I think those are?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Coat hanger.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah,
Okay,
actually, no,
got
yeah.
it. Pulls out of pocket.
Yeah, I think it would have to be. All right, so something like that. Okay, I'm just going to talk out my thought process here. You would need something to act as the representation of the anchor point and where you want to go. So you would have to find two physical objects.
An anchor. Okay, so 2 anchor points.
Yeah, and it would have to be something where they actually, where it makes sense. It can't be like, oh, I've got 2 rocks. It would I'm gonna
something that can have physical space.
Well, this is heading into an interesting direction.
Yeah.
Plane shift, the spell, requires a specifically tuned focus to the plane you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Like a tuning fork. It's got to hit the right frequency.
Yeah, so it'd have to be something along those lines. And I'm really tapping
so it's
into
gotta be specific to plane.
So here's so I'm gonna completely crib off of Rothfuss for a second here, because I'm in the middle of reading Name of the Wind. In that there has to be sympathy. There has to be a connection.
A resonance.
Then the more resonance there is, the easier it's going to be for you to hack this signal. That if you have... Do you have to have something from Sigil? No. Would something from Sigil make this easier? Yes. But if you can find something that you'd be able to adequately tune to that plane, and in this case Sigil, or that would be... You'd also have to have something that, though, in this case... Because you're hacking, you're basically joining the 2 networks. Then you would also need something to connect it to your current network, which has, as of right now, an incompatible signal. So then you would need to figure out a way to address the 2 of them. So you would need some kind of conduit to join the 2 of them together. And that's I could leave that open for interpretation.
Okay.
And yeah, you need a coat hanger to broadcast the signal. I just think there has to be a coat hanger.
You need an antenna.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
envisioning something like from E.T. where he like cobbled together like the speak and spell and the record player and all the other shit and made like this, space transmitter.
So then Dren will be going through like a whole menagerie of words that probably don't make sense. It makes sense to her, but it's more like when you start talking really fast and it just becomes one long word. There's no spaces. That's kind of what this is as I'm
German.
reading. And then it'd be like, Dren had a light bulb.
What's a light bulb?
What the fuck's a light bulb? I was waiting for it.
It doesn't mean she
You
wouldn't
trust
say
me?
it.
No, but I need you to do it.
Hands the book back. Okay, I was gonna be like, hands the book back. Can't do it. needs to do. Okay. I have 6 charges, if I remember right. Right?
You do have 6 charges.
Okay. Because I need to do a lot of bullshit right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna need my charges.
You may want to get next to the portal before you pull this off.
This I'm just preemptively.
Okay, I was like, if you're gonna do something in Candlekeep,
yeah,
that seems like a bad idea.
I'm preempting the DM before I preempt the team. So when I spend how many charges, what's my boons basically?
What was the math on this again? Hang on, let me bring it up here because I have the notes.
I need to know what I can get away with, basically.
Hang on, I'm bringing up my.
We need to do this, but I don't like it. I don't
right.
have to like that. This is necessity.
What it is? This is.
No,
this.
you don't have to
all
like
right.
this at all.
So 1 charge gets you your role play fluff special.
Okay. I don't need that.
2 charges get you advantage, or you can give advantage to someone else. 3 charges you can give me disadvantage.
Okay.
4 charges is one of your specials.
Okay.
And for Dren, you've got a battle ultimate and an out of battle ultimate. So the battle ultimate is the Razi armor, where basically Razi transforms into like your Iron Man thing. And we have some rules around that. And the out of battle ultimate is called 1 day build.
1 day build.
It's the Adam Savage 1 day build.
Did you send me the specs on that one?
If I did, it's in Discord. So for that, it's basically, and I'm gonna say
I have the Razi one.
I'm gonna say for 1 day build, we'll do it right now. We'll do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. The idea is that you could take something that might take you a longer time to build and get it done in 1 day, but it is based. I will say it has to be within reason. It can't be like, I'm going to build an army of tanks.
I build a Trojan horse.
Trojan horse, yes, but you would have to have the materials nearby. It couldn't be. So it couldn't be like, oh, I'm in the middle of a field and I'm going to make a stone Trojan horse if there's no stone in the field. But it could be that, hey, I'm going to build a Trojan horse out of all of this straw. Something along those lines. It couldn't be like, I'm going to build a platoon of tanks. No, you couldn't do that in a day. But you know what I'm saying? It has to. So there is a subjective within reason here.
Okay.
But the idea is that something that might take you a lot longer or might be very complex, that you could blow 4 charges on that blow. You could use 4 charges on that, and it would allow you to build something relatively complex and lengthy using the Adam Savage 1 day build rules. Which is, it might be a little down and dirty, but it's done.
This is gonna take some fuckery. Okay.
Well, that is the content we are here for. Let's.
So then, since this is gonna take me a minute, and then I know everyone wants to do some other stuff, I'd be like, I'll say to Hugo and be like, hey, I just need a minute to prepare. It can happen.
Good.
But you guys need to get your research done because we're gonna need to leave.
I'm mostly finished.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go prepare. You tell them to be ready.
But meanwhile, they're like right next to you as you're saying this.
Well, they could be lost in a book. I don't know. I mean, I know when I'm in like full, crafter mode, it's like I'm not paying attention to the world. World War III could be happening. I don't know.
This is all true.
So I'm gonna be preparing for a minute.
Okay. So Hugon did his thing. We've got the question of, but the word they. Eno, let us come to you because you were given a bit of a revelation last week.
Yeah.
So how does Eno process this? What is Eno doing with this information?
Well, so one of the things that he's doing is he's been writing, he's been surreptitiously copying, not like entire passages because he knows like that's like transcripts are, you know, there has to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
But he is jotting down like just like names and stuff. Like he's just
Notes.
he's making notes because I think making notes was okay.
Yes.
He's making notes, and then he sees, you know, as he's like doing all this, he sees Dren kind of freaking out, like start talking to herself, third person shit. He's like, okay, and he keeps writing, and then you know, later he sees Hugon and Dren talking to each other. He pauses and he's, isn't that nice to see them getting along? And then he starts writing again. And
that brief parent moment of,
yeah,
the kids are getting along. Isn't that nice? I know it's not gonna last, but it's nice right now.
And so he starts like he picks up the tube that's plugged in the buck, and he says, there was an old beggar with 7 canaries who once had a wager which made him quite wary. He bet that the shadows he'd bent to his will could coalesce and hold someone mighty still. And then he stops, and then he keeps writing. He wants to try and like he's been looking for how did this Dragonborn, I think it was the Dragonborn Shadow Council guy, how did he send Eno to the where the monks were, to the what's it called, you know, place, missionary, whatever. Like I think he drank the beer, and then he all of a sudden he was like sent to the where the monks were, if I remember correctly. So he's trying to figure out like, what was that, like a spell? Was he even in that bar? Is he still in that bar? Like,
what's happening here?
Yeah, like he hasn't really processed how he even came to be in this group of adventurers in the first place. And so he's like, wait, maybe there's something in here about that. So yeah, I don't know if that's something that he'd be able to find out.
Well, you can do an intelligence check to see if it's in the book.
All right.
We can do these things.
Okay.
It's a game where the rolls do everything and the points don't count for anything.
All right, awesome. So he's looking in the he's looking in that one book that I don't have the name of, the really long title book. And yeah, that's bullshit. I got 6.
Yeah. You're not finding what you're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. You still have not found what you were looking for. No. Yeah, you're not finding it. So it might be just it's a different book. You might have the wrong book, or it just might be something that you're not quite sure how to be. It's like when you want to research something, but you don't know the name for it, so you don't know quite how to begin. It's like, oh, I want to find the song, but the song goes do 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 do. It's like, well,
yeah. Well, it's like when you don't know how to spell something and you're trying to look up the spelling of the word that you don't know how to spell.
Yeah. You're missing a critical piece of information that's going to make this process a lot easier. So, you're not able to find that. But you see Dren, she makes her little announcement of, among many other announcements that she's made over the last several hours of, I got to go, and then you guys got to get ready to go because, things are going to happen. So you get the impression that things will need to start wrapping up. So are there any other pieces that you guys feel like you need to do before Dren does whatever Dren's going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to try and steal the book.
I knew it!
The vexing themes of shadowmancy and recipes for all occasions. I'm going to try and steal it.
Never mind.
How are you going to attempt to steal it?
So as Dren is kind of going off about like the portals and stuff with Hugon,
Mm-hmm.
I whispered to Buck to like go over and like make a bunch of noise, so as like a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna use like sleight of hand.
So Buck like goes over to the door and starts
bumping into it.
Buck starts to try and make copies.
He goes chopper on this thing from Star Wars Rebels. And he's like banging into the door and so give me a sleight of hand check.
All right. Please don't be shitty.
Which is Arcana check's cousin that's on the checking line.
I am going to boost this with a D8. All right, so that's
You still have
not
charge. You still have charges.
Well, it's a 19.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, 19
altogether.
You are able to do your sleight of hand and secret it away on your person. Is this like a in the pants situation? Is it in the
No? he just sort of like he just sort of slides the book underneath his other book that he brought, and then he just puts it in the bag. But like nobody sees him do it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's acting like this is his book.
Act as if.
Yeah, he's acting like this is my book, and I'm just gonna.
Don't you have like a couple of blank journals?
Well, I have one journal.
I was gonna say if you had a blank, we just hot swap it.
Yeah, so he's sort of mixing the books up on his desk a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is my book." And he puts it in his bag.
So you're able to secret it away. All right. Well, I think this is a good place for us to take our halfway break. I know we had a little break earlier, but that was technologically inspired. We still have to do our normal things that we need to do at our break, but we will be back in just a couple minutes to see if there are any consequences and repercussions to all of the group's actions in just a couple of minutes. So please
You are now
tuned.
banned from Candlekeep.
Book stealer. Whoa, whoa.
Stealer, whoa.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned. complete
feel
with
free.
sound. Here we are.
Complete with possible mics.
We have the microphones, we have the sound, everything is on, and we shall play Dungeons and Dragons, and you shall thank us for the opportunity.
Wer are the Joneses?
Penetrating your border.
Oh god.
Oh, nefarious Thomas.
Why are we all German now?
Was it again being
I
German?
need you to see your papers. Papers. 9!
My dogs are being noisy
Your
now.
infantry have strayed too close to my tag.
Oh god, if Christian saw this, he'd hit me really hard.
Nefarious Thomas, bless that.
He is amazing. Everything sounds so much better when he says it in his accent.
And then he kills your characters on the table.
And then I do that as
And then it's
well.
not funny anymore, and it's like, oh, he's serious.
Oh, he died.
Oh, no.
Oh no, you did it.
I don't know. I think it feels like a spoonful of sugar for the medicine when that happens, honestly.
True. And much like Kiko playing war games, he teaches you by destroying.
Very true.
He teaches you by doing.
He teaches you the way not to do things.
But that is a different kind of game, albeit it is the precursor to Dungeons and Dragons in many ways, wargaming. But we're going to play a different iteration of wargaming where we don't have miniatures and we may or may not destroy everything around us. Maybe.
Who can say?
So.
Let's say I have miniatures. What the fuck's my dren?
And one day we will eventually play a tactical Team Xenagon game. But today will not be that day. We see my dogs are upset because we're not playing Dungeons and Dragons. But we're going to do that right now. When we last left our heroes, we were at Candlekeep. They did some research. They learned some things. Drenmai took on a derangement because she sought knowledge before she was ready. And we shall see how that plays out as we go forward. Eno is attempting to steal a book because Eno's going to Eno.
Dogs don't approve that either.
Because fuck those librarians and their system.
My dogs are going to continue to interrupt our game because they have opinions about the whole situation. And but Hugon had decided that he was going to figure out how to hack the network systems and the portal network systems, and he had turned to Drenmai in order to do so. And Drenmai looked at the information, and Drenmai came up with an idea for how this might work. So, Drenmai, what are we going to do here?
Oh man. Okay. So this is gonna be before I'll leave. I'll look to the rest of my compatriots to be like, Dren's not really good. I don't think, like, yeah, my stats say so.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really good about being subtle, so it's gonna be like winky face, and then it'll be like I'm overly gesturing at Hugon, like, now's the time, a wink, and whether he understands that or not, you know, that'll be left to be said. Okay, this is gonna suck.
While she's doing that, Hugon will have a word with Thanuk and Eno.
Mm-hmm.
We need.
Before you do that, quick question.
Yes.
Would we have been prevented from allowing to bring in, like, say, Thanuk's backpack into this room?
I mean, we're
I don't
subject to search on the way out.
Force
so-
of habit, he would have brought it anyway.
I don't think so. Everything I've read in the various source material does not say that they have, like, you know, a no food, no drink. I think the idea is that you're supposed to respect the books, and there's consequences and repercussions for not respecting the books.
I draw on all the books with crayon.
Thanuk would have brought his no reason whatsoever beyond the fact that I just wanted to establish that this happens because he's still under the impression that every place is a temporary location, regardless of where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
He has his backpack.
Mm-hmm. He is a traveler.
So yeah, the end. Sorry.
Okay.
You're right. We need to go to Sigil. And it's important that you tell me right now whether or not you want to come. Either one of you.
Don't know where Sigil is, and I don't know what Sigil is.
Sigil is a very dangerous, very far away place that we will have trouble getting back from.
It's the place we talked about going a little
It is.
while ago.
Also that, but Thunuk's memory is poor.
Yeah.
At times, yes. Sure. I mean, you helped me rescue my family. I don't see
We
any
did do
reason
that,
why
didn't
I
we?
can't
Convince
go
him
with
that
you.
there's interesting mushrooms.
Shut up, Dren.
There's interesting mushrooms.
There is not interesting mushrooms. In fact,
Oh.
nothing grows on Sigil except a razor-sharp type of weed.
That's interesting.
It's not. It's awful.
Okay.
How are we going to get there?
Well,
We're going to break some rules.
um,
Like, not like people rules, but like cosmological rules.
Oh,
I'm-
so many
Oh.
rules.
Which is why I'm asking you, because that's dangerous.
is cosmological the sort of thing where the four might not be too pleased? I think that might maybe.
This is interesting because where we're going, the four don't get to talk to you anymore.
Oh,
Or any of us.
that seems
Or anyone.
a little
Unless
lonely.
they're there.
I mean, I don't know where they are really. I mean, they're everywhere. They're with us at all times and everything. So maybe.
You will note that you can't talk to them while you're there. Gods are not welcome.
That doesn't sound like a nice place.
It isn't.
Is
Oh.
beer welcome?
It is.
Okay.
That's helpful.
When were you thinking about going?
As quickly as possible. We need to get there quickly.
Oh, do I have time to finish reading this book? And he shows you stews and pies.
How fast do you read?
He thinks of this as a you want to see him read fast, and he starts. He's clearly mouthing the words as he's reading.
So Hugon will leave him to that. You finish up your research. We will go and prepare the portal.
Wait, from inside the
No.
Room?
The Shadow Gate.
But so we're not going from here, we're going from
We're going to leave
outside.
Candlekeep, go outside,
Okay.
and so if you have any research that you need to do or any books that you want to take notes on and things like that, definitely get that taken care of. It's going to take us some time.
Okay. Just let me know.
We'll come back. We'll send a runner or something.
All right.
And then privately to, he like Hugon looks at you and he's like, I don't want her to actually go through the portal without us. So I'm going to be watching her very carefully.
Has that happened before?
That's how
Oh.
you got brought into this mess.
Wait, what?
You remember the Shadowfell?
Yeah?
That was her going into a portal without
Oh,
telling.
okay. Well, I know about that.
Yeah.
I knew about that. Okay.
All right,
Hmm.
Drenmai.
So, I'm okay. So I'm gonna be like, I will have. I'm going to have. I'll pull Hugon and I'm only gonna have 60 seconds to do this. So.
Well, are you building something? Because we talked about having to build.
No.
Oh.
I just wanted to know my what I get out of my rolls should I need them or my
Okay.
charges,
Oh dear.
because the amount of bullshittery is gonna be great.
You are the only one who enjoys that. You realize that, right?
Yes. Well, I love
Dren is the only person who's like, I'm gonna do some bullshit and like enjoys that.
it. Chaos characters.
The rest of us, bad.
Yes, I love chaos characters. I leave it all to
No,
fate.
I'm talking for the characters, like just
Oh,
the
yeah.
character. The rest, like the
Dren's
players,
loving
know.
this.
Yeah, but like every time Dren's like, "Oh yeah, I got to do a thing," the rest of us are like, It's time to suffer. Yay.
So she's be like, I have a plan, and that plan involves taking me. You'll see me, and you need to take everyone to get to the portal in the next 60 seconds. I will meet you there.
Oh.
And we
lost
him again. So we're gonna pause.
Yeah, we're gonna pause on
I
this.
feel like this is an important place to pause because we
This is an important spot to pause because I have to get through this plan.
I'm the host now.
I run the stream.
No, me.
Yarr.
Or the caller.
Is mine.
Okay, so yeah, as we're waiting for so you're doing something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
a couple somethings.
Well,
why don't I put us at the BRB screen temporarily while we wait for him to get back?
Okay.
All right, so let me do this. I'm going to mute the mics. We'll be right back, everyone. Sorry about the technological difficulties. This is probably our last episode using Zoom for this very reason.
Yes.
So we'll be
Thank God.
right back. And we're back again. Sorry so much, everybody, for the technical difficulties today. The podcast, this is going to be a seamless experience for you. But for everyone else, this is kind of where we're at. So, once again, to recap, fourth recap of the day, Drenmai is about to pull some bullshit. That brings us up to speed, right? Okay. So let us now hear about Drenmai Gemweaver's plan.
So I was talking with Hugon, saying I'll only have 60 seconds to do this. And you're going to have to take me to, over these course of the next 60 seconds, you're going to have to make it very obvious that you're talking to me and communicating with me, and us leaving and getting to the portal in 60 seconds.
What are you going to do? Explain this to me.
So we need an anchor point for here, and we need an anchor point for Sigil. It's easier to communicate if we have one from here and one from there. And I need this wire thing for some reason. I don't know. Blame the instructions. But if I get caught, leave.
It doesn't answer my question. What are you going to do?
I gotta go steal some stuff.
What? From where?
Books. From here.
Okay. Why?
They only take things that are unique. I can get unique things from Sigil and from here in there. They come from Sigil. They come from here. So I can get a book that originated in Sigil and originated in here.
Are you sure?
And I can use those.
Right.
They have everything. She does the like the look around thing. There's probably like a big sign that says areas of Sigil through Waterdeep this way, you know.
But you realize that like if you fuck this up, we could be like unmade. Right?
You guys will be fine. I might die, but you guys will be fine.
Wait, you buried the lead. Suddenly, Hugon loves this plan.
So,
for all intents and purposes, it will look like our party came in, our party studied, our party is leaving.
So why don't we just actually leave?
You guys are going to leave. I can't until I get the stuff. And I'm not going to have you guys get in trouble if I get caught.
So we need then Thunuk and Eno to leave Candlekeep and go to the portal, right?
Yes.
To the shadow.
And
okay. That's information.
I need
that's useful information because I can't get there in 60 seconds.
Yeah, I need you guys
500 yards away.
Yeah, you guys need to get out. And you need to be far away from this place in 60 seconds as you can get. With that being said, I need to go to the bathroom. Hugon, follow me. She starts walking towards the bathroom.
Did I hear all that, or did
it was all in
that?
It was yeah. I think this all happened in the Necessarium. I'm sure.
Go to the portal.
Is Alexi in here?
No. You guys have to leave as a group.
How am I supposed to follow them? Follow you
just come with me, and then you guys can leave.
All right.
Come here. We need to go. Oh, I got so much water.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Dren's really bad at her.
Yeah, she is. And
performance and all that shit.
Hugon's patience is like nosediving.
I have a +0 to performance. So she's doing that like very obvious strut. I am going to the bathroom.
And Hugon's
is
like
walking normally. I look like a freaking nutcracker walking.
It's the next step of this brilliant plan.
So it'd be like, God, Hugon, you can't go into the girls' bathroom. And she goes in and closes the door. And about 30 seconds later, out walks Dren. And then the door kind of creaks open again. And you see just the eyeball section of a wraith. So I casted creation and I created myself as a perfect as I can. So I'm going to cast it all the way up to the like gem tier level. Like adamantine, I could make all this cool shit, but I'm going to cast it at that level so it can be like
you're freaking me out. Quit.
A perfect representation of
Like
me.
you got a spider in your beard. Like, ah!
So
How
that creation, it only lasts 60 seconds. That's why I said we have 60 seconds. But I want it to be so perfectly me that I cast it at like the highest I possibly can.
Okay.
So it's not like the kind of like flesh goblins she made before that were really, but they'll last like 24 hours.
Yeah.
I want this to be.
So you pass it. You cast this at the highest level.
Yourself.
So you pass this like at fifth level.
I cast. Well, it's the level in its own spell, because you for.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Vegetable matters a day. Stone crystal 12 hours. I
Yeah.
want to do this at the adamantine or mithril level,
Right.
which is only a minute worth.
Okay.
So that's what I send out with
Okay.
you on, and then I polymorphed myself into a wraith.
Okay.
Can you polymorph into undead?
I can polymorph as long as that the CR rating on it is a 5, and that's what we're at.
But it says beast.
Which is technically kind of like a beast.
Except that it is technically not.
Hang
It
on
is
a second.
utterly unlike a beast in any way, shape, and form.
It was once a beast.
To a new form, transfer the duration.
So this is the fuckery that I'm gonna see if I can get away
The
with.
creature. Okay, hang on.
Because
it's about the transform duration. Blah blah blah. The new form can be any beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than the target.
Exactly.
Beast is a very specific type of thing.
Damn rules
Wraith.
lawyers.
This is where the bullshittery. A wraith was once.
I hate this spell so much, and it's like, this is DM Gideon, and I apologize.
I know.
Every time one of my players has ever gotten a hold of polymorph,
Hang on.
I have to
Let's see here.
I have to deal with this.
Exactly, because it doesn't
And
say that
it-
it's
it-
not a beast.
It flips switches in my brain that go from like I'm okay with this to I hate this spell so much.
Right.
But that's why I also picked a lower rated, because
Well, it's a CR5.
it's a C. So I took it as lower, because technically, like, this thing doesn't even come up to my stats.
But the limit, the polymorph is CR5, right?
Right now,
it's
my
not
equal would
really-
be like a 6.
It depends on how you rule it, because I've read both ways. I've read the way that it's written. It makes it seem like you can transform into a beast that's your level.
Hang on.
The new form can be any beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than the target's.
Yes.
So the
Right.
target's
Yeah,
challenge.
this one's
So if
less than mine.
So if my challenge rating, and there's another thing to that somehow, that like, if the thing doesn't have a challenge rating, it's the level. That was the other part that.
So
if I'm a level 9, theoretically I should be able to transform into a T-Rex, which is a CR8.
So
That was what I was trying to say the
Yeah,
other week.
I'm taking
Beast-
a much
Yeah.
lower creature.
you've got it.
So
This is-
here's where I'm going with this. So Dren's been highly into necromancy, and wraiths were once a thing, but they're not anymore. So I'm trying to attune to things that have been dead.
All right. So
Smile!
No.
Here's where my challenge is.
I hate polymorph.
it does-
I know, but polymorph brings up such good conversation.
No, it doesn't.
It
Yes, it
does
does.
say. Hang on. It does say specifically beast, and beast is a very specific type of creature, which a wraith specifically is not. So, But I've also got the side of me that wants to see this happen, but I don't feel like I could just hand it to you. So I need more than just it used to be a creature at some point. If you can otherwise convince me, I will allow this to happen. But otherwise, I don't know that I could just let you go into Wraith mode.
What aspect of the Wraith do you want? Because there's probably
She
some
wants
beast
to be
out there.
intangible so she can sneak into that one room that Steve is guarding.
No. As much as Dren wants to, I'm focused on.
Something
I thought
else.
I thought your plan was to steal from that room.
I would love to, but I highly doubt I'll be able to get away with it. Doesn't mean I won't try.
So what? If it's not just to pass through a wall, what? I need to know.
Also, can wraiths manipulate physical objects?
I should be because I can.
Because they're incorporeal.
I can do. Well, see, the problem isn't.
Oh, there's many problems, but let's start with just.
There's many problems, but it's getting there first. So if getting me there, and then I break form, it's the getting out for me that's going to be the fun part. Getting there is not so bad. It still sucks and it's tough, but getting back in my idea is going to be some bullshit.
It says they're intangible.
Exactly. That's why I have to.
She would need to stop being a wraith.
I have to stop.
So specifically about the wraith, it does not say that they cannot interact with physical objects. So that would not be the issue. I think the issue is really trying to bridge this gap between it being an undead. Is malice incarnate concentrated into an incorporeal form that seeks to quench all life. The creature is suffused with negative energy, and its mere passage through the world leaves nearby plants blackened and withered. Animals flee from its presence.
I want this particular creature to have been made from a salamander. Because it's wraith. Wraith come from creatures.
Yes.
Creatures that have been turned undead.
But
I want a salamander wraith.
what caught? All right.
This is such an
Tell me.
I know Gideon's gonna lose it.
Tell me.
So weirdly specific.
Tell me
I
why
know.
the salamander died with such malice towards the world that it actually became a wraith. Because otherwise, it's not because if it's just it died, now it's a wraith. No. A soul becomes so suffused with negative energy that it collapses in on itself and ceases to exist the instant before it can.
Do you say animals don't have souls?
I do. Because it's fucking proven.
In D&D, not in real life.
In D&D. In D&D.
So it's a salamander.
When this occurs, the spirit becomes a soulless wraith, a malevolent void trapped on the plane where it died. Almost nothing of the wraith's former existence is preserved. In this new form, it exists only to annihilate other life. So you have to give me a really good reason as to why a salamander would be suffused with such negative energy that upon death, a moment before it could shuffle off this mortal coil, it collapsed upon itself in negative energy and became a wraith.
Okay, so my whole idea behind this is that the salamander is from here. And being from here, specifically in this library, if you know anything about salamanders, they like water. What is the least liked thing in a library? Moisture. This poor salamander was tortured its whole life being dry, not being able to find its proper environment, not being able to find food that it finds enjoyable, being literally kicked out of everything because it leaves its little footprints everywhere. It's the most hated creature, almost, besides maybe bookworms, in a library. Because it's wet.
No, I had you muted, so I didn't have to listen to that.
No, I have to be subjected to this.
Because I did not want to experience a second of that.
You've put so much work into this. As a one-off, I will allow it.
This is gonna be so
Run this bullshit detected.
This is one of those moments where, like, if this were real life, a court would look at this and be like, "This is a dangerous precedent."
You got PRBS'd. I saw the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the wraith peeks out from behind the outhouse door.
And it's tiny little guy. It's I mean, wraiths are very, wispy and stuff, but it's like this big.
Okay, you've got 60 seconds.
The wraith salamander winks at Hugon, and it flies because I don't think it actually, if I remember things about wraith, they float. Where's my wraith stats?
I'm more mad at
Yeah,
Brian
they hover.
than I am at you.
Mad or disappointed.
I expect this from. Brian, you know better. You know better.
Things are always possible in the world of D&D.
Except for, the fucking rules.
Rules are meant to be broken.
Fuck off.
That's a chaos character.
Fuck off with your statements about rules.
Hey, rule 0.
It is true.
Yeah, rule of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm playing this up. I'm not genuinely furious with either of them.
You're just in full ham mode.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you got 60 seconds now with your,
I've got 60 seconds.
with your little flesh goblin Dren.
Yeah, which
moving
Hugo
like
looks at the wraith and says, "I hate you so much."
slither.
and the Drenmai polymorph or creation thing is moving basically like a meat bag full of water. Like there's just not, the movement's not quite right with this thing.
Yeah, it's as perfect as I could get.
But there is a slight squishiness. If you could imagine if you can imagine a hot water bottle, walking.
I imagine like everyone, like other people would be like, okay, yeah, that's close enough to, but they're like my group is like, huh?
This is a Drenmai looking water balloon walking right now. It's a little too squishy. Not
Just,
quite right.
It sounds like Zoidberg after he molted and at the fitness center, and he's just walking around all.
So, all right. So now we're splitting the party. So Wraith Drenmai is going towards, I'm assuming, the door.
Oh yeah, I'm still gonna try and make a pass at the door because I can pass through not only objects but creatures.
Okay.
So I don't know what the dudes are considered as, but
the plan for the other ones is now what? That we have the Drenmai homunculi.
Well,
Drenmunculi. We've got the Drenmunculi, and we've got Hugon babysitting this thing, and we've got Thunic and Eno in the Necessarium.
Out we go. I need this portal.
Squish, 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 squish. So,
actually,
right.
Hugo will pick it up by the back of its whatever clothes. I assume you created it with clothes.
The clothes are like part of it, though.
Whatever I was, because
Yeah,
the
so
thing
he
is,
just-
I have to fool the guards and stuff.
He picks
that
it
have
up
already
like
seen me.
luggage and just
And it's like trying to pick up a water balloon. It's like you grab
Yeah.
like a bit of it, and there's like it transfers a little bit. It's like a little, You ever seen those novelty toys where it's like it looks like a tube that's kind of goes in on itself, and you grab it?
it's filled with goo.
Yeah, that's kind of what this feels like. So you stick your head in, you see your other people at the Necessarium there, Thunic and Eno. You see him with a too squishy Dren.
We're going now.
The eyes don't blink. It's a kid's sister Dren. Like if you glance at it, it looks like it might be a real kid, but it's obviously not.
Just when I thought they were getting along. All right, Thunic, are you ready to go? Seems like
what?
Thunic, I think we have to go now.
Oh, already? Oh,
now.
oh,
Now.
Okay. He puts the books down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you need to keep reading that book?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as Eno goes by the book that that Thunuk was reading, he rolls a 23 sleight of hand check.
The book thief over here.
To pick it up.
And you do, you're like, oh, and you just add it to the
I'm
pile
like,
here.
yeah, it sucks that we have to leave it here.
And are you carrying these things, or have you secreted them away in a pack?
I had my bag. I brought my bag in with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So you guys start making your way out to the gate. We're gonna come back to that. Dren. So you fly over to the gate.
Yes.
And you're gonna try to pass right through it. Is this what the plan is?
I just want to test, like, I know there's the sections of, books that are probably more easily accessible, but this is like the highest security vault area, I'm assuming.
Well, so the way that Candlekeep is set up is you've got like the Court of Air, which is hang on a second. It's not in here anymore. Okay. It's so you got the Court of Air, and that's basically, this is the area where everyone who's not part of the Candlekeep avowed, the monks who basically run the place. That's where everyone else is. If you're not avowed, you're not allowed past everything else. That's where they keep all of the books. That's like the library. So it's not like
everything's in there.
Yeah, so you can't like just peruse the stacks. It's like you have to know either the subject you're looking for. You can ask for anything you want, and the monks will go back there and look for it. And so you can ask for a specific title, or you can be like, oh, I just want something about hats, and they will go and find what they think their best and they might ask you a few questions to try to narrow down, because that's a pretty broad topic, but that's how that works. So if you're not avowed, you're not allowed back there. So everything that they have is beyond that gate, which is also why it's so well protected. So as you try to pass through this gate, you are feeling immediate resistance. This is not like a normal solid object. You feel like you could probably push your way through, but this would be kind of like a willpower thing, which they don't have willpower. So would that be? I'm trying to. So determination.
Wisdom check.
Wisdom.
No,
is wisdom
wisdom's...
intelligence.
Wisdom is willpower.
Is it? Yeah, then wisdom. It would be a wisdom.
Yeah, but
check.
I'm not trying to wisdom this.
No, but you have to like will yourself through it.
Well, then could I just strength it? Like, base strength of my willpower, basically?
It would be the wraith stats. The wraith stats of strength.
Okay.
You're not the Drenmai stats. Because you take on all of the, and actually be a wraith salamander. Because you're not a normal wraith. So salamander's strength.
Salamander's gonna strength of +4. I'm fine with this.
Really?
Yes. Salamanders are strong.
Not like a
critter salamander, or the monster salamander.
The monster. She's talking about the monster humanoid salamander.
It's a large, but it's not. I mean, it's not.
I thought you were talking about the critter.
No, she's not talking about like an actual animal, not a beast. No, not at all.
D&D salamander.
D&D salamander, the ones from the plane of fire.
I was feeling bad for this little thing. There's little salamander stuck in the library. It's like I can't eat anything. I'm squishy and I look in my eyeballs, but there's nothing to eat, and I'm dry. Oh, life sucks.
Well, just picture that, but larger, because I mean it's still a salamander.
Picture that, except it has 2 human arms and a serpentine back end, and
that would be a 21.
It wishes to eat me.
For my little baby salamander.
It's
my little baby boy.
You start. You push your way through, and you take.
I imagine this is uncomfortable as hell.
It is. You take 8 points of of
8
psychic. I'll say at this point it'd probably be psychic damage.
I'd imagine so.
As you work your way through this wall.
It's uncomfortable.
And it takes a little bit longer than you expected it would take. It
says as I'm doing this, it halves my speed when I try and go through something.
So you have that,
as
and
I'm passing through,
it is a thick door.
Yeah.
The door is thick, and you got with all the and it's dense, and it's whatever wards are on it, and so it's taking you a little bit longer to like really push your way through this.
Okay.
Going back to the other group here. So you've hustled your way down to the main entrance, and on your way out, the guards are the 2 monks there that are standing there. I say guards, but they're monks. Are then stop you, and they say, "Okay, are you looking to leave? Are you leaving?"
Yes.
The premises. All right, we will need to perform a bag check to make sure that none of our materials are being removed from the premises.
He holds the Drenmai upside down and shakes it. No books. And he's
Flop,
like,
flop, flop.
I didn't bring a bag.
Yeah.
Good day.
And so they look to you, Thunic,
And Hugon does not stop. He continues walking. He just
because you're not sure how much longer this thing is gonna.
basically.
It's starting to get like that melty look a little bit.
As soon as he gets out of eyesight, he's gonna just rip its head off. He's just gonna go rip.
And just like this pinkish viscera, like goo, just empties. Now you're just holding like.
Oh wait! If you destroy it, because it's made from shadow material from the Shadowfell, so it would be made of, kind of black
stuff.
wispy,
Oh god!
It's from the
like
Shadowfell.
this black tar stuff comes out, and
I
then
don't
at the
care
end,
what's inside it. I care that it's no longer.
As you do that, what's left is basically like the skin on milk when you heat it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's like left in your hand, and it's vaguely colored like the Drenmai Homunculus was.
And he just pitches that to one side and heads straight out.
It
to the
splats.
portal.
It sticks to the wall. It just like just on the wall there. So Eno and Thunic, they have asked you to present your bags.
Yeah. So as I pick up my bag, I put my hand in it and I just touch the book that I first stole, and I turn it invisible.
Okay.
And then I like as I'm in there, I take out the book that I was stealing for Thunic. I'm like, oh man, how'd this get in here? Like, so like I touch the book as I'm pulling that book out, and I turn the book I'm stealing invisible, and then I pull the other one out. And I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. I must have put this in my bag by accident. I'm sorry. And I hand it to the monk.
A very, very stern look from both of the monks. Stern and disappointed.
I'm really sorry. A lot's going on here, and I accidentally.
A lot's going on, and like if I gave a shit about either one of you, I would feel real bad in my heart. But I don't.
And they gently but very sternly take the book from you.
Okay.
Book.
My book.
We hoard knowledge here. Knowledge is not for the public good.
No, they share it. You're just not allowed to take the source material. It's because then.
Well, maybe fuck them.
So okay, and then Thunic, they ask you to open up your bag.
I take my bag off. I put it down on the ground, and I say, "Be careful. I have a few friends in there. I don't want to wake them up."
And I have to imagine as this is coming off, this is like when Goku takes off like the wristbands, and it's just
Dents the floor.
Yeah, it's like
what the fuck?
And the bag is gotta be almost as
this seemingly like patchwork leather and cloth bag sounds like a 50-gallon drum has been put down, basically.
And it's probably like up to like their like sternum level. Yeah. I would have to imagine this is not like. You could probably easily fit 1 or 2 humans into this bag were it to be empty.
Well, I mean, if you didn't care about what configuration you put them in there, yeah.
So they are like looking at and there's like a bit of a shock because I'm sure there's a little. It's probably earthy in there. There's some
it
things.
It smells of the nature.
It's got some stank.
Yeah, snakes don't smell good. Reptiles don't smell good, and we know for a fact it's canon. There is a snake in there, so they start kind of like. Rooting around, and like one of them like they're like kind of like tentative about wanting to do things because there might be some things that might be a little sticky in there, or and like there's some plant material, and one of them like grabs like a stick and is like kind of like poking around a little bit, and every now and again there's like a little scuttering like a scuttering sound, like something like moves out of the way, like, yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine. And Thank you. Thank you very much. And bags back on. We're going to come back to that in a second. Drenmai, you finally are able to push your way out of the wall. And it's like when David Copperfield walks out of passes through the Great Wall of China, where it's slow and it's the hands are coming out. Or no, better yet, it's more like when Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura 2 came out of the rhino's ass. It's like this really...
That's a reference I understand. I don't know who this David Copperfield guy is.
And it's you're slow, and then you accelerate out. And you're on the other side of this...
you have no idea how happy Dren is.
And you can see it's a patchwork of buildings. There was no thought as to planning this out. It is a veritable city on the inside of this, but it was almost like buildings were built as they were needed. And it was with no thought as to how are the streets going to go. There was no thought as to where the architectural significance of these buildings, other than they were built to serve a purpose, to house knowledge and to house the people that maintain the knowledge. So it's a variety of architectural elements from all sorts of different races. You can see there's Elvish and Dwarvish. There's even some giant. Pretty much anyone who builds probably has built something here over. They needed an architect. We need a building. Great. We put out the RFP. Oh, good. You had the lowest bid. Awesome. And we have, good. We had the kobolds build this one. Fantastic. But it's some of the buildings have started to almost absorb the other buildings. They were built around. It's very much a cacophony of building materials and styles that houses everything there. This is where you find yourself.
Okay. So if there's no system other than visual, I want to try and go anything that looks, Sigil-esque. That's going to be my first go-to.
Does Sigil have a... Because I don't imagine
their
Sigil
theme is boring and... well, Dren would consider it boring because there's literally nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you talked about Sigil's theme as boring, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, Sigil's theme. Let me see. If I'm trying to visualize Sigil.
So if what I remember from Sigil is true, it's built on the interior surface of an enormous...
It's a torus.
It's a donut.
Yeah, it's
or
a donut
or
it's
whatever
it's
it's
donut.
called.
Well, no, it's like Halo, right? It's like Halo. It's built
And
on
it's
the
built-
inside.
But it's lots of metal.
Well, it's all around it. I thought it's like the whole surface is
Yeah.
covered in city.
Yeah.
The whole. Yeah,
It's
just
a
picture
reverse
a
Dyson
donut.
sphere.
The inside is city.
It's a reverse Dyson sphere.
But it's very metal. Very. I mean, I guess I would look for things that are rounded, since everything does have a curve there.
Well, okay, let's do this first. History check, so that way you can see how good your memory of Sigil was from the last time you visited Grandma Mom Gemweaver.
Sweet. That would be math 25.
Okay, you've got a very vivid memory of walks through Sigil with Grandmama Gemweaver and how buildings would look. So now it would be... now we're going to do an investigation check. I think, or a
See, I was meant for this mission.
Perception. Yeah, it'd be a perception check to see if, as you're moving around, as you're flitting around as Wraith Salamander.
18.
18. All right, we're going to come back to that because this is going to be Jen flitting around trying to find no, not that. It was, just, ghosting around. All right, so Hugon has left the building with the wet, empty plastic bag that's been sitting in a puddle for a week, looking remains of the Drenmunculus. Tossed that to the side and I'm beelining it for the Shadowgate. I'm imagining through the little ramshackle village. Eno and Thunuk, you guys get your bags back on. you start to walk out, and as we described before, the entrance to Candlekeep is a giant arched entrance with a tunnel leading through this very thick wall with a second entrance, which is how you get to the Court of Air. So you've done your bag check in the beginning of this tunnel. Yeah. You're walking through, and right as you get to the end, you start hearing as you pass through as you start to pass through the gates.
Which is an alarm for those who are curious as to what that was.
and
that was not a war cry. That was a klaxon.
It was and the doors start to shut as you're trying to as you get to the edge of the gate here.
And I say, wait, where's Alexei?
Was he with you in the necessarium?
Was he in there? I don't remember.
I don't think we had him in there. I think he was in the room.
You stay behind?
I hope so.
I think we left him in the room of rest.
Okay.
Hopefully he stays there.
In the House of Rest. The House of Rest. Research wasn't his bag baby.
So wait, but he's still in Candlekeep?
Yeah, he came in with you.
Okay.
He came in with you. But he stayed at the House of Rest. This was all very hastily thrown together. This was, hey, we got to go right now. Impulse. And so now the doors these enormous doors are starting to shut on some kind of mechanism as you hear cranks and pulleys and things moving in the walls there.
Right.
And the doors open and monks start to pour out of the...
To look at you sternly and do nothing. We're disappointed in you.
I'm like, hey, Thunuk, we got to go get Alexei. I think he's in the House of Rest.
Oh, is that why the doors are closing? It reminds me you forgot someone?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, that's kind of convenient. Okay, we should go.
Yeah. So I turn around and I walk towards the House of Rest.
But as you're doing so, now they're barring your way.
Okay.
And the monks are there, and they're giving you now very, very stern looks. And they're like, "Sir, we need to search your bag again. Is there anything you'd like to declare?"
I'd like to declare that my friend is in the House of Rest, and I need to go and get him because we need to leave.
Someone will go fetch him. Is there anything you would like to declare?
I don't know what you're
Dimension
talking
door.
About.
Bye! Get fucked. That's what I would like to declare.
And I say, "Sir,
we lost that again.
Damn!
We need to
Deuces.
We know what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna come back to this because he's there. Dreadmai. You're able to find one such building that has some of the architectural cues, inspiration from something that you remember in Sigil. So you're like, oh, this is probably a place where I can find what I'm looking for.
Okay, I'm not going to be super picky, so I kind of just want to grab whatever Dren thinks would be like the coolest looking book. Something of like maybe good size, like it's a thick book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's made out of some kind of weird material or something. I'm not looking for anything in particular. I just need it to be from Sigil. So if I think this shit comes from Sigil, I'm going to be like, that one looks cool and grab it.
Okay, what would it be made out of? I want to know. I'm trying to think of this book. So Sigil, if it was made,
it's probably
there,
like made of like metal plates.
Yeah.
Like
okay. So
clank.
What I'm envisioning is the pages themselves of this book are thin sheets of metal. Like if you were to buy thin sheet metal from like a home improvement store type situation, where there is some flexibility to them, but and you can see if you were to quick glance at it, you would see that all the pages, the lettering has all been acid etched into the pages, and I'm just trying to think of a cool looking book, but it's written in some kind of weird symbology. You're not quite sure what the lettering is in it, but
I love symbols, man.
and then
Okay.
the cover
That goes right into like.
I think the cover would have
Well,
to be
if I
like
see it.
the cover is a raindrop Damascus steel.
Okay.
That's what
I like
nice.
it.
Nice.
That would it's shiny. That would
Cool,
definitely
cool.
pull Dren's attention.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and when you touch it, you get mild electric shocks from it, like a static, like if you're touching one of those Tesla generators, you know, you get it's like a tingle, like an electric tingle, very similar to that of whenever you cast your lightning spell. There's a little tingle. I mean, everyone else gets most of the tingle. There's a little tingle.
It's a tingle relative to greater tingles.
So, so yeah, you're able to grab that as a wraith. The question becomes, how are you going to get it out?
Yeah. So this is where I'm gonna have to break spell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is why I wanted the salamander, because I want him to go. I felt bad for him in his past life, and it would go to normal salamander life. So if I pull this up, yes, I can polymorph again. And I want to be normal salamander.
Okay.
So that way I can grab it.
Well, you were able to grab it as you're able to interact with things, corporeal objects. That wasn't the issue. The issue was you wraithed through the door. So you could be salamander, you could be wraith salamander, still carrying the book.
Okay, then I'm gonna stay as wraith salamander. It's gonna go right in the craw.
Right.
little wispy craw.
All right.
Now the problem is I'm gonna take my wonderful flight motion, or hover as it's called. I'm going to move as fast as my little wraithy body will get me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see anything even closely resembling something that might be Candlekeep, it's like doing that drive-by grocery shopping. I'm just going to grab. I do a grab. If I think it might even be slightly related to Candlekeep.
Even slightly related to Candlekeep. Like in
so
terms
I
of
might grab a few things, but I'd be like, oh, this section might, like, if I go to this one and I'm hauling ass back towards the door, it'd be, yeah, that might be it. That might be it. Sure, why not?
Okay, so just a random assortment of objects. We'll come back to figure out what that is. All right, so you've got now you've got your book, you've got your other random assortment of items from Candlekeep. Now we're gonna go back to our vestibule, where Thunic and Eno are now essentially trapped because the monks are standing in front of you, so you can't get into the court of air. The doors behind you have closed with a very pronounced and loud dong as you hear them close and shut. And Hugon, I don't know if you're even aware, but you hear the door shut. You hear the alarm go off. You see the doors are shutting and they shut behind you. So now we have tri-split the party.
Okay.
Yay!
So and they the monks are looking at you, and you, Thunic, and saying, "Sirs, we will need to search you again."
What's your name?
Why is that important?
Go full Karen.
I need
to see your manager.
I need it for the records.
For which records?
Listen,
just give me your fucking. Sorry.
You've got a great alarm system here, but this book was stolen from the monastery. The librarian charged me with getting it back, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to confiscate it. And he holds up this. He holds up his hand like this. there's nothing in his hand because the book is still invisible. So he's like, I'm afraid I'm going to have to confiscate this book. I work for the librarian.
Give me a deception roll.
All right. I'm gonna goose that.
I give advantage.
Oh, you're gonna use one of your charges.
Fuck yeah, I am.
Okay. He's like, yeah, why not?
All right. Thanks.
I need you to succeed.
That was worse. All right, so I rolled a 5 and then I rolled a 4. I say the 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 6 is 17.
That's pretty good.
All right, so he looks at you and he says, You're an agent of the librarian?
Yep.
And you retrieved the book, but now you have to
listen, we had to go to the Shadowfell for her, and she said that in exchange I had to get this book back for her. So, I commend you on your alarm system. It's great, but this book doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the librarian.
But someone gave it to us.
Somebody who it didn't belong to in the first place gave it to you. Do you have a record of who gave it to you? I would imagine you do somewhere.
We certainly do. It would take us some time to look it up. If you would like to stand by as we look up.
I'd love to, but we are in some haste. As soon as my friend Alexi gets here, we're gonna need to go. But if you want to contact the head office, Acquisitions Incorporated, they'll get me the information. I'll go take care of that guy. All right? Or gal. Or thing. Whatever.
Give me a persuasion roll.
All right. Oh, that's pretty good. That's 24 total.
Kind of roll we need.
And one of the monks steps in, and he says, "I'll handle this, sir. I'm sorry. I'm his supervisor. I'm sorry about any inconvenience. I'm sorry if any of my underlings have caused you any inconvenience. We really pride ourselves on having an excellent customer service experience here, and I think what you're saying is reasonable. I think it's reasonable that we can. We have your name. We have your. You checked in. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna make this okay with you. I have the ability to make this okay for you. So we're gonna open the gates for you, and we will check into this. And please just make sure that. I hope there's no hard feelings. I hope that.
Listen, you're gonna get a positive Yelp review. It's gonna be great. I appreciate your time, and I should have said what I was really doing here. Then we wouldn't have had this whole thing.
Oh no, sir. It's my staff's fault.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right then.
And he makes like a few hand signals, and they're all like kind of looking. And you can see there's give me a insight check.
All right.
And Philip, if you'd like to do an insight check as well, that's
sure. Womp womp.
Oh,
womp womp womp.
Yeah,
20. So that's 21.
All right. You can see that this is a situation where they do not like their supervisor. This is a case of where he probably big times them like a lot, where it's like, well, I'm the supervisor now. And you hear one of them be like, oh, I guess he finally decided to get out of his office and do something, huh? Look who's a big time now. Oh,
he's throwing his weight around, I guess.
His weight around again. Oh, that's kind of funny because then his boss already got it. I don't know. This is the third book he's lost this week. So you hear a lot of chittering of this. And as you're leaving, you see Alexi. He comes trotting out, and you're able to make your way out of the gate.
Excellent.
As Alexi approaches, it finally dawns on Thunic what's going on here. And he says out loud in like in an astonished manner, "They were in possession of stolen property?"
Yeah. Yeah, the person that brought this book in, they stole it. And we're taking it back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said Thunic. Yeah.
That's okay.
Drenmai, you have your goods. How
so many.
are you?
Mouth is full.
How are you going to get the book and the various and sundry items that you've picked up along the way out to the other side of this gate? And more so outside, because as you're doing this, you do hear like an alarm going off on the other side of the wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's if my time has run out on the first polymorph, I can cast it on
We have an
myself
hour.
again.
That lasts an hour if I remember.
Polymorph lasts. Oh, it does. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's the Drammunculus that's been.
yeah, the
It's
Drammunculus
done.
lasts
It's-
60 seconds.
Yeah.
Um.
And now it's just like a
So-
spot of black ichor on the wall from where Hugon
Yeah.
threw away the remaining.
As I was
Gross.
kind of like tearing butt through this area, I mean, no matter what, I have to imagine that all libraries have some kind of ventilation because they have to keep it dry. So I kind of want to look for something like that.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to try and go back through a door.
yeah.
So I'm looking for some way that they're keeping this place like dry and the air and shit like that.
So like a window.
No, I don't think they would have windows because I think they would say
This is-
that
they're by
sunlight
the
is
sea.
bad.
They're
Oh,
by
you're
the
right.
sea.
So I'm thinking that it's all going to be done through like ventilation systems, basically. That's
All right.
that's my thought process on it.
Do an investigation check to see if you can't find
Okay.
some kind of ventilation system that would allow you
17.
17. Yeah, so you're able to find you're able to find a graded ventilation shaft that you think might be able to lead you outside.
This is totally Mission Impossible style.
Yeah.
Um,
But the challenge is that it's very narrow, and you don't think
Yeah.
you'd be able to fit, because this is a thick tome you have. You're not
Okay.
sure if you'd be able to fit the book through the ventilation
oh, so
system.
the books don't go through.
Yeah. And you can see when you look
Well-
in, there's like grates along the way that
Okay.
kind of like act as like, if it's like filtration or just to keep things from getting in and out, or, because you want
And
to
I
keep the
have to
critters
do
out.
more fuckery. Okay, so I hate this. I'm using so many spells. Okay.
Yeah, just wait till you get to the
then-
boss monster.
2 polymorphs, 1 creation. All the
Well, no,
steal-
just one polymorph.
Oh, you're
to
right.
last
You're
an
right. You
hour.
didn't. Yeah.
Okay, so then this is going to be. Do I have good agility? Okay, I'm fine. This should be okay. So if I like I'm picturing Wraith form and I'm like trying to shove the book into the grate or whatever, like
Mhm.
the dog with too big of a stick, it's like
Mm-hmm.
and it's not working. So you're like, okay, I don't think I want to go back through the door because I heard alarm sounds that could possibly be me. So I need to get out a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the alarms were my fault. So okay. On one hand, I'm going to grab like if there's any part of this grate or whatever that's in there, I'm going to preempt my wraithness there so I can grab it to pull myself out of polymorph.
Okay.
And then with the other hand, the books or
Mhm.
arm it or whatever. So I pull myself out of polymorph. I instantly cast spider climb. Shoop, suction cup to the
Okay.
ceiling. This is treacherous for Dren. So You gave me a wonderful bag. I'm going to shove all that shit in the bag.
I gave you a what?
The Horde's person's bag.
Oh, the Horde's person bag.
So
I was like, wait,
that
what
makes
did I do?
that
Hang
makes
on.
shit smaller and more easily transportable.
I thought it sent it somewhere else.
Even if it sends it somewhere else, I don't. I'm having to try and get out at this point. But no, I don't think it's sent. It was just there because it's got my paperwork. It's got
like an interplanar thing.
Yeah,
I haven't.
that thing.
Yeah, I don't.
So that goes in there. So now I'm spider climbed. I imagine this is still going to be tough for just me. Even though I'm small, I imagine this is going to be tough for me to work through.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like shoving a hot dog through, like a little...
A smaller than a hot dog shaped hole.
Yeah, so I'm picturing this is not going to be comfortable for me.
No, it's a tight squeeze. You're
Okay.
like... And it gets,
I'm
like you can't
arms
like you gotta
by my
like
side, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, it's like you can't bring the elbows out. It's like you're like it just.
Oh, I hate all of this. But
Yeah.
I'm with spider climb still active. It's like I could literally do like it's like when you have to rifle a gun. It's like I spiral through the area.
Yeah, but the
turn,
entire
and then
time
you kind
you're
of
muttering
make
to
your
yourself.
way through.
Yeah, and the entire time you're muttering to yourself.
There's people in certain parts of this library that are starting to hear voices, and they're like, "Oh man, I really need to get some sleep."
So after some time of working your way
I imagine
out,
this is gonna take a while.
Yeah, but it's so the rest of the three of you, the rest of the group, you guys are waiting anxiously by the shadow gate.
It's been hours.
It's been like about an hour now, and Drenmai still hasn't come out yet. There's you get out into the court. You finally, Drenmai, you work your way out into the court of air. Now you have to get out through the main entrance.
Okay.
With your metal book,
Oh, I'm very excited to figure out what this book is later on. I'm gonna make sure to keep spider climb on me. Do I see, now that I'm in like the outside part, are there any windows or anything?
No, I mean it's an open courtyard. So it's an open courtyard.
So on any of the so I'm on the outside?
No, so you have the court of air, and it's just walls, and it's an open courtyard.
Okay.
And then you have the other, the next wall leads into the inner part of Candlekeep where they keep all the books. So you have, you're like in a wide open. This is where the house of rest is, where the hearth is. This is where this is where you were all before. This is where you were torturing, Hugon before. So it is an open air courtyard.
I'm gonna keep spider climb on then to stick to the wall part, and I'm gonna try and as much as I can stealth to get to where the rest of my group is, because I imagine I have some sense of time, and I know that they're probably waiting.
So give us a stealth check across the court of air to see if you're able to get there undetected.
Okay.
That'll be the first step.
So this is why I was built for these stealth missions. Oh god, yes, 21.
All right, so you're able to make your way without anyone noticing you to the main entrance. So now you have this hallway you have to navigate. That is the tunnel where you initially came in. There are some additional. There's some monks that are standing out there. There was only 2 when you first came in. Now there's like 3 or 4, and they're all like, God, that's like the 3rd time that has he done that to you before? Yeah, dude, he comes out here all the time. The customers just I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna do, and every time he gets, and then he comes out here, and then he gets in trouble, and then he comes out and starts writing us up like, oh, you are 2 minutes late to your shift, and it's just.
We should really just kill this guy.
It's like, man, how many times is he gonna do it before they fire him? Well, they're probably just gonna promote the guy. I mean, look, his boss is a moron too, and it's just like a lot of this.
And the one creepy monk is like that. I'm like, I'm telling you, like I told you last week, like if we just cut off his hands, like.
Stuart, we can't do that. Stuart, it's not cool.
Listen, to metal.
It's too much. It's too
Too
much.
much.
Well, maybe if like an accident happened.
Well, you know, back in the Church of Syriac, where I'm from, we know you're from the Church of Syriac,
Dude.
all right? You
Oh
won't shut
God,
the
really?
fuck
You're
up.
from the Church of Syriac? We didn't know you were from the Church of Syriac because you only told us 3 times today.
Enough. Fuck, Stu.
Sorry,
God.
guys. Sorry, guys.
What
Just
do
is-
I
is a
see
cold
that's
time.
around, or like?
She brings us
in-
back.
Yep. No, I'm just gonna keep going on while you guys go. What do I see that's in their line of sight that's flammable?
Books?
It comes full circle
Well,
now.
no, I'm outside of the books.
Yeah. So you're looking down. So you're
So
seeing
I'm looking
this
for
tunnel.
like the gift shop or something.
The gift shop's on the outside. That's on the. You have. It's basically just this tunnel. That leads to the outside the wall. You can see that there is doors on either side that lead to whatever offices are inside the door, and there's the monks, but there's nothing. It's a dirt floor, or it's a dirt floor. Yeah, it's like hard packed. There's some lanterns hanging from the ceiling, but there really is nothing in the way of like outside of clothing. There's nothing really flammable out there.
Clothing's flammable.
Oh God.
There's no banners or pennants or anything like that.
There's no what?
Banners or pennants or flags.
No. It's a very sparsely decorated area. It's a very purpose-built area.
Okay, so then I'm gonna keep spider climb on, so that way I'm kind of up on the ceiling portion. Because if it's not, if it's like that stark, then I'm gonna try and stay to as much of like the shadows that the flames are kind of producing as possible.
Give me a stealth check
And-
to get to the ceiling. We'll start there.
Okay. God, I love being stealthy. That's 23.
Okay, so you're able to, as they're like bitching about their supervisor, you're able to kind of like do the thing.
And
where
it's Stuart.
like you're like
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah, you just
dun.
able to sort of come around the door and just skitter up to the ceiling. And now you would need to
Okay.
make a stealth check across the ceiling to get to the other side.
Okay. That's 13. I'm being lit, so it's gonna be much more difficult.
Yeah. So as you're doing that, one of the monks is just like, "Wait, did you hear something?" And they all start like looking around.
Okay.
If this were a video game, they'd all have the question mark over their head. now. Yeah, they're all.
How far are they from me?
At this point, you made it to the other side, so you're. I think I said the wall was about 50 feet thick. So, and the archway is about 30 feet up. So you're about 30 feet up, and you're 50 feet away because you're on the opposite wall now. You would just need to climb down and out the door, but now they're all looking right now. Not necessarily looking
Okay.
up. They're just
Just
looking.
Crawl over it?
No, that it's an arch. It's an arched door.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
I was
So right now it's like as you're doing like some dust or a little bit of like loose rock or mortar or something is like come down from the ceiling, and so now they're investigating it. So if this is Arkham, they're looking around, but they're not looking at the gargoyles just yet.
That's fine. So I'm not close enough to do what I want, so I'm just gonna have to up it up a little bit. I'm gonna use my movement as I want to do this. So this is gonna be like a twofer.
Okay.
I want to move towards them, and if it all past them, and I want to cast Fireball, not at them, but maybe close enough to maybe lick one of their clothes so that way they set on fire. But it's an explosion flame, so I want them to then get their attention off of me and onto there's now fire in your library.
How big is the fireball?
So it's a 20-foot sphere.
20-foot radius
Sphere.
sphere.
Radius.
So it's 40 feet across in all directions.
Jesus Christ.
It is a ball of fire.
Yeah.
It's a ball of fire.
One might even say, goodness gracious.
Because I'm not quite close enough to them to do original plan, so I have to just kind of knock up the fire just a little.
Just kill them. You're not coming back here.
Kill them.
You've been fine with killing all kinds of shit before.
But they've had a disgruntled boss. I don't want to make their days any worse by killing them.
Needs to be a precision
improving
strike. As this needs to be a precision strike, I do want a bit of a dexterity check to make sure you can position this the proper way to not.
Okay, that's fine.
Because you're essentially going to fill this entire area with fire.
Yes, with fire, and explosive fire by that.
That was Hugon as the devil on her shoulder going, just kill him.
Just kill them.
Shit, come back. Okay. What's my
Blink.
Just normal dex?
Normal dex.
Blink. You're wasting a lot of time, and
It'd
you're
be
progressively
18.
pissing me off. Just kill them. Blink.
But I mentioned that Drenmai whispering to herself, "Oh man, she just killed him. No, just kidding."
Well, I'm still talking, which I'm trying to probably mutter under my breath so they don't hear me.
And that might be what they heard. So
When Hugon shows up on her shoulder, she does a Hugon voice. She's talking to
I'm
herself.
grumpy all the time, and I think you should kill him because
I'm grumpy. I've got hemorrhoids.
I make hurt with hands. Blah blah blah. Who gone smash?
I need to take care of those corns on my feet. Okay, let's continue.
Okay.
Make that dex check.
Do it.
I did. It was 18.
Okay.
Oh, good for you.
So you cast your fireball on the opposite end of the hallway, and you're able to place it, but just about the entire tunnel is engulfed in flame. Except for maybe the last 10 feet of it. But the wall of heat just blasts you as this goes off. And the monks are just, it's like they fall down. They're just, it's like, if you get so startled that you just, and they just don't know what to do about this. Let's do one last stealth check, and I will give you advantage because they are
sweet.
Because they are distracted by, fire.
The all Wilhelm scream.
Okay. 24.
Okay. You're able to quick spider climb your way out the gate. As you go, you hear the alarm start going off again, but now there's fire going on. The and you're able to quick scuttle your way out of there. The doors start shutting behind you, and now the monks are trapped inside with the fire.
I love being built for these missions.
And you're able to get down off the wall and start making your way to the shadow gate.
Being a very loose way of saying, I love how I break the rules for these missions.
No. I mean stat-wise. I've got lots of stealth and all that stuff.
Built for chaos.
I'm built for going into.
Yeah, I mean you're definitely well made for this exact kind of fuckery.
For this particular thing, nothing else.
Do we hear the alarms go off?
You hear the alarm going off again. You hear first you hear an explosion.
Okay.
And then
you see smoke.
Then you see smoke pouring out of the gate, and then you hear the alarm, and you're pretty sure you see Drenmai scuttle out from on the wall and back down the wall, and the doors are closing, and you're hearing yelling and everything from the inside. Yeah.
At the sound of the first explosion, I go, "Oh, Drenmai's coming."
Pretty much. And Drenmai comes skipping up.
My calling card.
Yeah. You do notice now, though, that Drenmai has a streak of white hair from her normal red. To be determined as to what that was from. But,
I thought...
okay.
Sorry.
But, and she comes skipping up, and she's got the book, and she's got a handful of other tchotchke items, under her other arm, smiling. And that is where we will end.
I randomly stopped by the gift shop on my way out.
She should be here by now.
Oh, look! It's a bobblehead. Bing.
She comes. She comes up, and she's got it's like the goofy hat, but for Candlekeep. The T-shirt.
It's like a book, like a little teepee book hat.
That's the brim, right? The brim of the hat is like the book.
Yeah.
The rest of it looks like a wall around it.
It's a bobble book.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I've had so many tchotchkes. I got y'all keychains.
She's got
keys.
There's an ashtray that's looks like a book.
all of it. It opens up. It's like the ashtrays on the inside. It's like...
Yeah.
There's book scented candles.
Table talk. We should actually.
Yes.
end the
Okay.
game.
But yeah, we'll come back right back with tabletop. But that is going to be our game for this week. We will be back in just a couple of minutes with table talk, and hopefully not as many technical issues. And we'll be right back. Now you're talking. I'm bringing us
My
back.
Mickey Mantle rookie holographic.
Yeah, well, I'm bringing you back. If you there's actually Statomatic Baseball, which basically plays into that, where you take all those stats and then you can actually
Inside, or is that what inside baseball is? I've never understood that fucking phrase.
I don't know.
When people are like, that's inside baseball.
No, that's when you're
That was
getting
a show.
Well, no, there's that. No, inside baseball. That's where you're getting too much like behind the scenes.
Why
like
do they call it inside baseball?
I'm not sure of the origin of it, but the idea is that if you're talking inside baseball, it's something that people who are only in baseball would be interested in. Like if you're actually like a player or a manager, you're talking
okay,
about.
I thought there was like some sort of like
I thought it was a
metaphor for
TV
baseball
show in the
related
80s or
sports.
something.
Well,
Or
We're
something.
back,
it
by the
is,
way.
but it's
Yeah.
just
Oh, are we?
it comes
Oh, hi.
it comes from there were different. Okay, so way back, this is I don't know why I know this. Way back playing baseball, there were specific styles of baseball playing the game. So knowing inside baseball terms means you know the specific thing of said thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of bullshit.
I've never bothered to look that up. People are like, that's inside baseball, and I have to kind of futz through what they mean.
Yeah, it just means that it's like you're getting too deep into the weeds with stuff that only people who would be really interested in that stuff. Like, it's very easy for D&D to get to inside baseball with D&D, like we're discussing polymorph. It's like people who may not be as familiar or just casual fans, like, it's not going to be as, they're not going to be as interested about, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, as we're talking about creating the CCG baseball game,
please don't afflict the world with that nonsense.
All right, so let us do our. I need my D4 for this, so I know where we're going to start because I can't make decisions without dice. We are starting in quadrant 4, which would be clues, right? Clues, yes.
Moi?
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Let's see. Favorite MVP portion.
Yes, MVP, employees of note, things of that nature.
Basically, trying to like bullshit everything, like at all possible points to have it make sense. Like, this does not make sense, but this is why it does. I think. But wait, I think because then that plays it so that way I can do a bunch of fuckery, and then poor Eno has to be like, this is why it actually makes sense. Yeah, that's got to be my MVP, is basically just every instance of if something's going weird, Eno's like, here's a perfectly logical explanation of why.
There was some definite bullshit happening today.
Yeah.
Well, talking about, speaking of Eno, let us go to Eno's player, the player character's player. He puts the player and player character, Roz.
I'll have you know that I also rolled a 4 on my D4 at the same time that you rolled your 4.
Well, maybe they're linked.
It could be. There were a lot of cool moments. I liked the Solamander. That was really good.
I knew I was gonna get the beast thing, so I had to come up with some bullshit of why it would have been a beast wraith.
Except salamanders are not beasts at all, and you fucking tricked Brian.
I mean, for the purposes.
That's subject to.
No, it fucking isn't.
Debate.
And I like the double heist. The double heist.
There was a double heist today. That was not expecting a double heist. Well, it's almost. No, because it was a singular heist where you tried to steal two different objects in the one heist.
Well, so now, to be fair, I took the other one so I could take the first one.
And if you got away with it, great. But if not, you could sacrifice it.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
And Eno did not know that Drin was going to be performing her own heist.
Yeah, no.
2 heists in parallel.
So I thought it was really funny that the alarm was going off for me, and then she thinks like, oh shit, there's an alarm.
Somehow I got caught, or my sense of being has tripped off some god knows whatever sense. Like, there's laser beams that are catching on all planar exister. I don't know. Yeah. I thought it'd be me because I have no idea what you guys have stolen.
Well, I think Candlekeep is definitely going to have to upgrade their security system. That's for sure.
Yes.
So,
or just stop letting people in who look like
that might happen too. There's a brief shutdown. We reevaluate everything.
Adventurers are no longer allowed in Candlekeep.
Shit.
Yeah, there's a limited list. You got to know someone. Well, let's move on over to Mr. Gideon Reese.
The invisible book trick was good. I liked that a lot. That was really good. And also summoning a middle manager from from the ether just to be like, I need to complain to somebody who's going to be totally ineffectual. And it worked.
Because we've all worked for that person. The one who is just so excited about being in management that it's like, I'm going to jump in and solve every situation. You know,
their life has peaked in middle manager.
Yes, they've and this is, I imagine this is someone. It's not just like, because listen, I was a supervisor at an REI and I was terrible at it. I was 24 and I was young and stupid and bad at my job. I know that now. I thought I was awesome at the time. I was wrong, but this is more like the person who started that supervisor job at 24, but they've Peter Principled their way to it, and this is all they're gonna get. They're like in their 50s now, and it's not because it's not for a lack of ambition, or maybe it is. They're like, no, I like my little fiefdom. I've got my control, and they've got enough. You know, they got enough protection from overhead that they just never get fired.
Whatever makes them happy.
Yeah,
it's important to realize that sometimes that is paradise.
Listen, Mr. Ivan Martino.
Yeah, I really did like the middle manager suddenly appearing. A wild middle manager has appeared, and the fact that Eno whips out an invisible book and doesn't bother making it visible. And she's like, "This was stolen."
That was wild. I thought he was gonna be like, "Just kidding, it's not here," but then he rolled with it, and like, there is a book in my hand.
Yeah, and the middle manager was the sort who's just like,
I've seen this before. I've seen this kind of thing before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't piss off the customer.
Well, no, they don't want everyone. You know, you've met that person who can never admit that they're wrong, right? Or not even that. They can't admit that they don't know something. Where it's like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
I mean, how can I steal that which was already stolen?
And there's that. There's the.
You know what I mean?
I'm
I can't be
unstealing.
stealing this because it was already stolen.
Two wrongs don't make a right, but two steals make a not steal.
Slight.
A potato.
A potato.
But I also actually liked the calling card that is explosion. Yeah. It can't have been a Dren visiting a place without something going boom.
Something's got to
Burning down or collapsing or
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a theme. Listen, always be branding.
God, we're gonna get such a tongue lashing from corporate
Oh,
if they find out what we did.
we're not making any money for a while.
We weren't anyway.
I didn't have as many notes today just because with us constantly bouncing back and forth with the tech. Listen, we're gonna have some fun with Dren's inner monologue. That's gonna be fun. We once again have a song, so always makes my highlight reel whenever we have a song in there. There was two reactions today that were fun. It was when Hugon said we're gonna have to break some rules, and Thunuk's reaction to that. It was like just a little it's like, and then there was one where Hugon said, "What are you going to do?" And Dren's reaction was just to giggle. There was two little fun little. There's like little things, but these are the things that entertain me. Yeah, the whole stolen property BS was definitely on the highlight reel there. The Hugon voice.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I liked that.
I like that. I think we're gonna have to.
I need to work that into my inner monologue now and have a Hugon. I mean, because we've had this established thing that there's the like angel and demon parts, and I think I need the Hugon portion. So I'm gonna have to work on my crotchety grumpy voice.
And it was always there, right? But it's just after you met Hugon, it was like, nope, this is the better candidate.
I found the appropriate crotchety old man.
And then you got maybe like the Thunuk on the other show, like, no, we probably shouldn't do that.
No, this is okay. You should be nice.
We were talking about souvenirs that you would get at one of the off-brand gift shops. We said the book hat. We said the book ashtray. We said the keychains that are a book that have your name in it, because that's in every
book.
The book.
Candle
It's
keep.
just a book that's a book.
The book. I don't even know what
Book
it
of
is.
books.
A book with a book in it.
It's the secret book. You open up a book. There's
it's
a
a
little
carrying
book
case.
inside.
Oh, you know what it is? They have like the different book covers that you can put around other books to make it look like you're reading something like really like intellectual.
Highbrow.
Like, oh, I'm
Or-
reading
or
Catcher
the
of the
opposite.
Rye. I'm reading Catcher in the Rye. No, you're not.
Book flavored treats.
For the
Book
dogs.
scented candles.
Yeah, we said, we said the book candles.
Everything smells like sandalwood.
The book candles. We have the book doggy treats. Because you have to have them.
There needs to be some kind of...
I went to Candlekeep and all I got was this lousy shirt.
Yeah, you got of course
Yeah.
the T-shirt. There's the T-shirt wall.
Yeah.
Or the T-shirt like shop, right, where it's just all the different kinds.
There needs to be
Reading
like
is
those little
fun.
kid things,
If you've ever
like
been down
little,
to
like little bouncy balls or something.
yeah, yeah,
But
stress
they're
balls.
books, and so they don't bounce right.
There's
I have
always
been
if you ever go
thinking-
down to the Jersey Shore, there's if the boardwalk is like a thing to do with the Jersey Shore, and I'm sure it's other places as well. But the big thing down there is about 1 out of every 3 or 4 shops on the boardwalk is some kind of like T-shirt / like tchotchke / souvenir / oh, you need some like sunblock type store, right? But it's all like they have like the band, some of the band T-shirts, but it's always like whatever the hot T-shirt is for the summer. Like one year it was free hugs when Jersey Shore was a thing, I guess. But you know, it was like they'll always have like something on the shirt, and you'll see it like in every store. Like they all like, oh no, this is the trendy shirt for this year, or they'll have like the SpongeBob shirt that looks nothing except for like SpongeBob, you know. So I imagine there's gonna be like, you know, a couple stores like that where it's all like the trendy shirts for this season. You know, Candlekeep, or maybe not even Candlekeep theme, because it's not even Jersey Shore stuff. It's just like, or beach stuff. It's just like, oh, you know, I'm with stupid. You know, they sell those shirts, you know, with the arrow pointing or something. So
At the official merch store, there are vast sections where it's just because we were talking of an idea for a mascot,
I think
and
I know what it is, but I can't wait.
the mascot of Candlekeep is little candle dude who's always carrying a book of some sort, and his name is Wiki because he has a wick.
Aww.
But also,
So it's like a Lumiere looking guy.
yeah, a little bit, but instead of like 3 candles, it's just 1, and he's got little wax. But I was thinking Wiki, and then like he's got a wick, but also Wix,
Wiki.
Wiki, like it's like Wikipedia, yeah.
And he's got a little friend,
What's his little?
a
name?
little bespectacled friend named Bookworm.
I hate them both.
And there's like the animated series.
Oh, if Hugon would have ever mentioned that, then I definitely would have grabbed the plushies of both of them so I can surprise him for it later.
I would imagine that even no matter what, you probably got him like the giant ass that's bigger than Dren plushie.
Yeah.
Right?
There's just an entire wall of different wikis, like different costumes for each one, like they used to have at those old Disney stores when they were that were.
It's like Build-A-Bear.
This is gonna like rapidly grow into, and then there's like the carnival booths where you have to like knock the cats over with the stuffed cats over with the softball, but you can't, you know. And it's all like the carnival games that are all like rigged, all that shit.
Yep.
Oh, we need a carnival episode. I need to just torture the shit out of Hugon.
I think there's probably a carnival section in Sigil. It strikes me as the kind of place that would have.
It's like the most demented carnival.
Yeah, the carousel is actually a necromantic construct that has undead horses and hippogriffs and unicorns and things on it.
They're all going, please release me.
Well, or
Release me from this prison. Help, kill me.
and they're just like slowly going up.
Let
and
me
down.
go. Let me pass on to the. I don't belong here. Oh God.
No,
Dear
that's
Lord.
okay.
Dear Lord.
That's fine. That's all right.
We're gonna stop that. Okay. So that's that's old business. Any new business that needs to be discussed?
I'm still playing Baldur's Gate. I died a lot.
How's it
and I forgot
going?
to hit save.
It's not going well.
I've gotten so used to actual like games having
Background
auto
saves.
saves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the '90s.
Yeah. I should probably just hit Q
Wel-
every like 5 minutes.
Yeah, welcome to the 90s, and also to a game that just doesn't give a shit if you blunder into a really, really bad situation.
Yeah. No. I
Silky
keep letting
messed
that
you
main
guys
character.
I still
keep
do
letting that
multiple
main character
saves in
get
a lot
into
of my
fights.
games. Like even now, I still by habit because of that, because that's shit that I grew up on.
Hammer the save button. Yeah.
That, but no, multiple saves, because you never know if you didn't save far back enough. Like, oh wait, no, I need to go back 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
Because I missed this one thing, or I need to.
I can't tell you how many saves I have for like a lot of Final Fantasy games, because it'd always be like
King's Quest.
I'm guaranteeing that at some point Von's going to get to the point where he's saving before he goes into every
door.
It's my thinking.
Because there might be spiders.
Or in one case, there was a dwarf fighter rogue who whooped his ass. Up. You just kicked the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm. There is a part where a basilisk just randomly shows up.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I'm not telling you where.
Gonna get one of those pendulum birds, like from The Simpsons that Homer had.
Yeah, the dipping
bird.
Hits
the same button over and over again. Hits the cue every time.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, drinking bird.
Yeah, drinking bird. Yeah, thank you.
Click.
Yeah, that's that is definitely.
But it's a fun game, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is. Yeah, and I especially like the fact that this is like a late '90s game, and there's so much voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
So much,
and by like known voice actors too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they just grabbed
cool.
grabbed like nobodies. These were people that were at that time like already, like I know Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings does a bunch of voices in there, and at that point he was already like Disney's golden child.
Yeah,
he was Winnie the Pooh. He was Darkwing Duck. He was God knows what else he was doing, but he was employed.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like they were like.
Also, like the guy who did Pete from the Goofy cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
He's
I think that is Jim Cummings.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that is Jim. I think that's Jim.
If that's Jim Cummings, holy Christ, he's been around.
Yeah, he's like Disney's like go-to guy. He does like a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's the production value in the game. It's one of the few D&D games that was made during that era that's like not awful, because they made some bad ones, because that was when they were in the stage of just license everything. They had no direction, and they were just licensing out everything they possibly could.
Did Wizards own them at the time, or was that still TSR?
Still TSR.
And that's when they made a lot of mistakes. That's when they were publishing like, I don't know how many books a year they were publishing. Just like not like, so they had all new source books coming out all the time. They had novels coming out way too quickly. They were licensing out to anyone and everyone, so that because they were just trying to, because at the time the CEO had zero respect for the property. She was just trying to make money as quickly as possible, and that's what got them, because they produced so much stuff. And they had an agreement with the bookstores that anything they didn't sell, they could send back. And they did. And they didn't have enough money to pay back the credits. And that's what caused TSR, one of the many reasons it caused TSR to go bankrupt, but also put them in a position for Wizards and someone who actually cared about the franchise to come in and say, nah, I got it. We got it, guys.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Except that they did.
Well,
oh.
Well, I say, when they did from what I read, when they did the acquisition, they initially, they didn't move anyone out of Geneva, because they were still in Geneva, Wisconsin. And then when they finally did say they were going to move everyone to Seattle, they basically went to all the creatives and said, you're the reason why we bought this. We want you here, which was a very different message than what they had the previous 5 years, which was, I hate the creatives. You guys are all worthless to me. You're beneath me. You're nerds. You're whatever. And Wizards was like, so we want you guys to come out to Seattle. We'll pay for you to move out here. And if you can't make it, that's fine. It's no harm, no foul. But we need everyone out here. But we'll pay. And they paid for anyone who wanted to come along. They paid for everyone to come out to move out to Seattle and work out there. So they did it right. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people that could say otherwise. But just from that aspect of it, they obviously cared enough about the franchise to pay it the respect that the fans wanted, and then decided not to publish a new source book every month. So there's that.
Yep.
Sorry.
You have thoughts and feelings.
Rant end.
Rant and / end rant.
I'm glad I made it to your TED Talk.
Thanks. Welcome to my TED Talk. Do we have anything? Do we have anything else?
I think that's it. So we have some possible announcements coming out regarding playing tabletop stuff.
Yep.
We'll see.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
That would be cool.
And also PAX stuff, which we need to talk
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Secrets? What?
All right, everybody. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to this ridiculous stream today, and for watching our silly little show. We will be back next week with an all-new episode of Dungeons and Dragons, where I'm sure there will be no consequences or repercussions for any of the actions that any of the characters took in today or previous games.
There hasn't been so far.
Why are we gonna start now?
Why start now?
Thanks for
we just have
watching.
to go to a new area.
We just can never come back to this plane. There won't be any consequences if we never come back.
Can you say statute of
Fine.
limitations?
Mhm.
We will be back next week with an all-new game. Tune in on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern to watch Late to the Game and watch Viking Goat gather his party before venturing forth, and keep an eye on our tweeters to find out about other stuff that we'll be doing. So everyone be safe, be cool, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.